You're listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie, Jeff, and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes, and nooks and games, and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
What's up, bitches, and welcome back to the Gamecasters Podcast, the only show brazen enough to start an episode off by offering salutations to the bitches. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me is my blushing bride, Natalie, the Nook. Why don't you step inside? And Jeff, the dolphin puncher. It was really illuminating to all of us to see just how much you hate dolphins.
Wow,
Jeff.
That was rough. I didn't really realize it.
You didn't even know
I didn't even know. Now I know.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we have partnered with Modern Meeple, a company that makes super high-end board game component trays manufactured right here in the good old US of A. And the deal was made over at Jeff's house while he went out to his dolphin tank he keeps by his garage, had his neighbor shoot one in the neck with his crossbow, and then served it up to Josh from Modern Meeple, who then immediately stood up, shook my hand, and said, "I like the crazy, nonsensical meal you've prepared for me. You got a deal."
Is he Southern?
That was a groundhog.
I don't think so. No, I think he's from like Massachusetts. I don't know why he talked that way. That was weird, I thought of him.
Yeah, it was strange.
Check out the post on the Gamecasters and the Mad Board Gamer Instagram to learn more about that. But yes, we have partnered with Modern Meeple. And if you head on over to modernmeeple.com, you will see a plethora of products to peruse and promptly purchase. And please, when you do so, input special discount code Gamecasters to get free shipping on your order. Anyone who uses code Gamecasters will also get a super sweet Gamecasters keychain. Those are super sweet, by the way.
They are really sweet.
Modern Meeple is the creator of the Gamey Susan, which is a lazy Susan for board game component trays. These trays are enormous.
They're shaped like Jamie Lannister.
That's what they call the Jamie Susan. They come in different colors with different compartment layout options and are just the best to display in your gaming space. The different layout options are like 1.
Yep.
2.
And 3.
Yeah.
And the last one is 3.
There's also one that's got like it's like a crisscross grid.
Yeah, I saw that. What do you do with that?
I think it's for cards. Yeah, it's for cards of different various things. There's like, you can put a bunch of different stuff in there. It's really interesting.
I like the 3. It's my favorite one so far.
Is it really?
The triple.
I thought that we wouldn't like the 3 as much, and then we played with it, and I was like, oh, it's good because it's deeper than you think.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it
it's
would hold that
deep.
much, but it actually held a lot.
It held a lot. It held a lot of my shit.
Yeah. They're so nice. I was like, so we had this gaming weekend I'll talk a little bit more about, and all I wanted to do was play games with the components so I could use them.
I hope you talk more about that, because that's really,
it was
that
the
was
first
really
time
funny.
that I had my hands on it, my own.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was like, hey, let's play this game because it has components.
Most of the games we played didn't have.
No.
Okay, so this thing, it's so fun to spin. Why? It's a lazy Susan. I mean, everyone loves lazy Susans, but this thing was so fucking fun to just like take your finger in it and just stare at somebody blankly and just keep rotating it.
Spin smoothly.
Yeah, spin smoothly.
It was almost like a fidget. If it was by me, I was just like I was like a DJ.
That's a great. Wow. So we've got a great show lined up for you today as we're fresh off the heels of Mini-Nerdfest 2023 that happened over the weekend, which is the reason this episode is coming to you later than normal. And I know what you're all thinking. A miniature Nerdfest? Yes. We had a scale model of the Nerdfest VFW Hall 3D printed along with the likenesses of all of you thanks to the camera we installed in the bathroom. And we got all together, played with it, recreating the events of Nerdfest, the peeing, the pooping, the hand washing. We had a blast painting them all and laughing at the memories. In reality, we went to Donkey Kong's house for a scaled-down version of Nerdfest that Jeff hosts called Mini-Nerdfest.
Yeah, it's a really original name. I thought of it all by myself.
It's got all the fun of regular Nerdfest with none of the expense. And really, whenever we want to have like a board gaming anything, we just attach Nerdfest to it,
Right.
and then it seems official.
Now we have like 3 Nerdfests.
We can sell it
They're
easier.
all like totally different.
We can sell it easier to our
Exactly,
wives
to the
and
wives,
friends.
and like, it's Nerdfest.
Sorry,
Oh,
it's
that
Nerdfest.
sounds official.
You get it right.
Oh, I guess they have to go to that. Lots of games were played, lots of food was eaten, and lots of friendships were sustained. None made because we all knew each other, but I needed to think of a third thing to say. It was a great time, and we'll talk about it more in a second. All right, Jeff, ready to talk about it more?
Yeah, I am.
So tell me what games you got played and what was the most fun part of the weekend for you.
So this mini Nerdfest is even smaller than
Regular
like a regular Nerdfest. So
which is then smaller than now
our
big
basement
Gamecasters
dwelling
nerd.
Nerdfest, the OG Nerdfest. It's even smaller than that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's why it's called
So
mini.
we're getting
Basement
back-
dwelling, it's BDNF.
Yeah, basement dwelling Nerdfest.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's funny.
so there was maybe like 15 people,
There's
Yeah, I
not many.
think
12
at-
to 15, maybe 12.
If we, I think he's right. I think if we like
added it
actually
up.
totaled them all, it's probably around there.
Yeah. So it was just Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, show up early, leave late. Sunday, people kind of teetered out around dinner time-ish. So it was actually even one day shorter than our regular Nerd Fest.
Right. Which is why
Twice-
mini.
Also mini.
The people were smaller.
Smaller people.
And the dates were smaller. And the time
Penises
was
were
smaller. So you could only play tiny games. So, like I said earlier, I was trying to play games that had components, and then I played none of them. Or I played, I played Trismegistus, which is one of my favorites that I talk about. And I haven't got to play it in a long time because Devin doesn't like it.
Darn.
So, Kevin and I, the Measles, have been talking about playing this game for
Years,
maybe a couple years. And on Saturday, I saw him. I'm like, get here at 9 a.m. We're going to play Trismegistus. Even that game, I had a 3D printed insert. I didn't need to use a component trace because there are just come right out of there.
So you didn't then.
So I
you couldn't
didn't.
really.
But so that was a game. So in terms of like memory, I beat the shit out of everybody in
Everyone.
Trismegistus.
Just because you
By
played it before.
So I think
What's a typical winning score?
Okay, so here's what I've played the game 3 times before this current time.
Okay.
Joe, a couple turns into the game, was like, "What have you scored?" And I was like, "It doesn't." I was like, "Why don't you just try to score the most?" I don't know. So I said, I'm like, Devin and I have scored somewhere in like 70 to 80 ish, something like that. I think.
Yeah.
And I went back on like an Instagram picture from the first time we played, and that's kind of where we were. I don't remember what we do. I don't have the exact points logged, which this can be an argument for why.
Do the
I
points
should for some
scale
reason.
with number of players? So should you score more points if you have more people playing?
Not necessarily. So in this game, you can react to other people's actions. So like if you took an action, I can react to it. So I might have more opportunities to react to something that would help me more than
Like
just 2 players.
Like you'd cry?
Yeah, like I just jump, like I have to do a jumping jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any kind of reaction you can do.
Yeah, so if it was just Devin, when Devin and I just play, I can only react to her die, which might not be the most
Beneficial to you.
yeah. So, so maybe it would scale up. But I remember after my first couple plays, and this is what I do when I really like a game. I don't know if you guys do this, but I go on Board Game Geek and I like read forums or
All
rules
the time.
updates. It's like my
All
favorite thing
the
to do.
time.
Natalie does
Afterward.
not. Afterward.
Yeah, I do
Yep.
that. I've done that going back to video games. I'd beat a video
Yeah.
game, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to go
What
read all
do
the
people
reviews
think about it? What are
Movies.
did I mess a rule up? What are people saying? So
How
I
is
went
it?
in.
What's episode 117? How are we now just talking about this? Because
I
I
know.
feel like we've probably both done
Should be a
this
Nook.
forever.
this is
Welcome
probably
to
part of
Natalie's
my
Nook.
Nook.
Probably?
Probably.
It's part of your
Like
Nook?
this
Ooh,
could,
what's
this
that?
is,
Like up
I never
until the
felt
left?
that.
This is kind of related a little bit.
Should we not
Really?
talk-
Like
No, you can
brother-in-laws?
talk about it. It's not like what it's about, but like it will be mentioned
It's
again.
that
I'm sure.
phenomenon again.
All right.
That phenomenon's happening.
And we don't. I never know what Natalie's Nook is before I just
Nobody
come
knows.
inside.
They really do. Form in there.
And
Oh God.
so what the fuck was I saying? Okay, yeah. So I went on and read, and after our first game, Devin and I even played a rule wrong, which helped us, and we were both like 70 or 80 points. And someone was talking about, I'm scoring in the 150s, 140s, 180. I'm like, holy fuck!
What the hell did we do wrong?
I'm like, we
no
cheated.
shit.
Like we played the rule wrong to help us, and we only got half of what these people are scoring. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be a cadence. There has to be a timing element, something that I'm just not getting, or maybe
Right.
it was 4 players.
Or they're cheating.
So
Or they're cheating.
or they're
all
cheating,
cheating.
right? And I'm looking at stuff too,
good.
and I'm like, okay, let me figure this out. So I ended this game with like 160. So I
okay.
was like,
so more like that.
and Joe and Kevin were in the 60s, 70s, right? And Dave was at 100. And I throughout
Wait,
the
so
game,
you like tripled their score?
I was like rolling. I was like I was whooping.
oh my God.
Yeah, I doubled them up for sure.
Wow.
Joe, they might have hit at the corner might be 70, but anyway. And I was watching Dave play, and it was clicking for Dave, and I was like, "This is great." And Dave's rolling, and I knew he was there, and then for some reason I figured the timing out of the game and just like how to sustain.
You saw the Matrix.
How to sustain that drive the entire game, because sometimes in those really heavy games you like burn out quick, and you're like, I don't know what else.
What
to
now?
do.
What do I do?
And I seem to
Which
have
is
just
what
had
Dave
it.
said happened to him.
Yeah. Dave was like, if the game would have ended after 2 rounds, he would have won by just as many as I won. And so that play, something clicked.
So you felt that. You're like, oh, I'm doing really good. I'm going to score a lot
I felt
more.
it. I didn't like snake in the grass. I wasn't slow playing. I knew that my engine was humming. Like I knew that I was cruising.
You were turned
But I was
on.
also
cruising.
hoping in my brain, I sit there and I'm like, God, if I win by like so many, are they gonna fucking
They're gonna be
hate this
pissed as fuck.
game?
Yeah. Did I ruin it for me?
Like I'd rather let me just win by 1. Let me miscount and I'll just. But then I'm like, no, that's not how you like. I'm playing the game.
Also, that's another
for me.
Nook topic is winner's guilt.
Yeah.
That's a Nook topic.
I'm playing the
we need to
game
explore.
for me, and I'm playing the game, they know I've played the game 3 times before.
Yeah, I'm going to
I
beat
have
you.
an advantage in heavier games when I've
You're
played
going
it
to
more.
lose.
Yeah.
That's how you started the game. Just look, you're going to lose.
You're gonna lose.
You're going to fucking lose by a lot.
But sometimes it happens in reverse for me, which could be another Nook topic, is when you explain the game and you're trying to run this
You're not
really
thinking as
fucking
much
heavy
about it.
game. I'm not thinking about my own
Yes.
turn.
Nook topic.
But anyway,
Right
that was a cool moment. I'm really glad I got to play it. It's been sitting on Measles' shelf of shame for a really long time.
And the two of you together have been trying to play it for a long time.
So that was a really cool moment. I'm glad we played that. We played Planet Unknown a couple times. I got to play Planet Unknown with John Kalinsky, he's like, we need to play this, and it needs to be terrible because I don't want to back it.
Oh, he's never played it.
He's never played it.
Oh, shit.
And so throughout the game we were playing, I was like, you suck and this game hates you.
This game fucking sucks,
you
bro.
suck. You suck at it and this game's dumb. So don't back it.
And every time
and then
you
he
back
went
it,
home, he backed
a
it.
penguin
You
gets
did.
fucking
Yeah,
clubbed
he
to
backed
death.
it. He
Well, how
backed
could
it.
you not? It's great.
I know.
Even though a penguin would get clubbed to death every time you back it.
Yeah.
Or a dolphin would get
dolphin.
punched.
Well, apparently from the post, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Yeah, a bunch of
We
shirts
played a
about it.
game soon that we'll talk about in a minute, and Ryan and I finally got to play Chinatown again after years.
5 years.
That was fun.
That was so
It was a really
great.
fun-
I came in dead fucking last. I had a blast still.
Yeah.
It was still so much fun.
Ryan pulled out Chinatown. He was like, all right, we're going to play Chinatown. And I was like, I got to go let the dogs out. Bye.
Bye.
And she just left. Boom, bye.
She hates
It was
those
great.
negotiation games. Well, I didn't know anyone was even going to play. Dave sat down to me and I'm like, oh, you're going to play? He's like, hell yeah, I'm in. And then Jeff came over. He's like, hell yeah, I'm in. And Kevin was kind of like sheepishly standing over by the other table looking at this like, don't ask me, don't ask me, don't ask me. Don't. I was like, Kevin, you want to play? And he's like, fuck. Well, if you need one more. Yes, we do. Come over here. And then he promptly
And he
jets
stomped us into the ground.
Yeah. Well, not so much you, but yeah, you're right. He did.
So then I got to play Red Cathedral with the expansion. You'll hear more about. We played a game of Splitto as soon as you guys showed up.
Very cool.
I got to play Lost Ruins of Arnak with Devin and Dave and Patty Party. And we played Night of the Ninja.
It was like a double
Yeah?
date.
Yeah, it was, no, like the other Dave Madigan.
Oh,
So
Dave
yes,
Madigan,
but
go, here's
weirdly.
the- we had Night of the Ninja, played a couple strike games.
Yeah.
Overall, it was like nothing really brand new to me, which is
Okay.
totally fine.
Well, I'm still going to ask you the same question, but keep going.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Is it game of the
Yes, it is.
yeah,
Game
what did
of
you have
the
most
weekend.
fun.
Man, just I think the
Because did you still have as good of a time as normal?
yeah. Sometimes I like in our smaller nerd fests playing games that I already kind of know. We could just jump in and play these longer games that we don't normally play.
Yeah.
And because we play new games on Monday a lot.
Sure.
So this is one where you go, all right, we know it, sit down, let's play.
Right. And then you can get more in.
And then we get more in or longer games. So
Right.
I'm usually okay with all that kind of stuff. So you're going to ask me game of
Game
the,
of the weekend.
I think, God, that Trismegistus whooping is not a.
How can you
it's
not
a
say that?
Hard thing
I was
to,
like,
it's
you
hard
gotta-
to
I'm sure
overlook.
that's what
It's
you're
hard to
gonna say.
overlook
The
that
whooping?
one. So I'm going to go with that.
Moment of the weekend for you.
Jeez.
Moment. Let me think
Wasn't
about
prepared
moment.
for
You
that.
want to
Well,
talk about
get
that?
prepared.
Yeah, you want to talk a little bit? I'll think about.
All right,
moment.
so mini nerd fest for us. It is so great to have like a mini nerd fest that I don't have to. I can just show up and play.
Yes,
I'm like, now I don't have to, and that's going to happen for regular nerd fest in January
Yeah.
too. Dave is going to take over hosting duties for that.
Yep. And he's. I'm going to do a little bit of the stuff too. I'm
Okay.
going to try to do shirts and designs and stuff for
It's
that kind
so
of stuff.
awesome. So I'm like
you can just
so
show up.
happy to just like, I get to show up and play. And so that happened and it was awesome. We had Sam, Miss French Toast, stay with us. And so we all kind of caravaned over there together. And it was really cool to just kind of come over there. It was really, intimate and chill. And then we just play whatever we want. Most of the time, and every Nerd Fest that's ever happened, I walk away from it and I'm like, I didn't play half of what I wanted to. I got stuck playing shit I didn't want to. That's just the way the nature of it goes, right?
Yeah.
That didn't happen this year. Every single game I was a part of and played, I wanted to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
I think because it was so small.
Yeah.
There was never
That's
that
my favorite
moment of
part
like, yeah.
is like, a lot of times when we have Nerd Fest, it's like there's a lot of people, the basement's crowded, but like this one, for the most part, there was like just enough people where like there was like 2 games going on at once.
Yeah.
One at one table, one at the other table,
Mm-hmm.
and that just felt like the perfect amount. And then sometimes, players would switch around and then 2 different
Change it up.
2 more games are being played.
up.
And
Right.
it was like a very pleasant, easygoing weekend.
Yeah, we didn't use the other half of the basement for,
Right.
which and I
Yeah, 'cause
liked
we
that. I
only
liked
had 2
that. It was
going.
cool. Even occasionally we could all, you probably just said this and I missed it, but even occasionally we could all play together. All of
Right.
us.
Play Night of the Ninja. We play Green Team Wins.
Yeah,
Right.
we're just
jumped in.
we're able to do that, and then it's like, okay, let's play a game all together really quickly, and then all right, let's break up and go into different groups. And I feel like I played games with every single person that was there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I think I
did too.
literally played a game with everybody. Maybe I didn't play with Patty.
Yeah. Oh,
Other than like green team wins.
No, okay, there you go. I'm
Yeah.
counting
But
it
yeah.
then.
I
We
guess
played a
John,
game with everybody.
but he wasn't there that
No,
one.
I played Gap with John.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
played
you did
Gap
too.
with John. Okay,
yeah.
right. We
So we did
with
get to play
everybody.
with everybody, and that was really cool. I liked that a lot. The game of the weekend for me, I don't want to spoil what I'm about to talk about in a minute, so I'll talk about that in a minute.
Yes.
But I was also excited to
Well, you could
play
say it.
Chinatown.
It's on the.
No, because then everyone will know what I think about it. Crap! Now it's already spoiled.
Damn it.
All right, it's Marrakesh.
this out.
Gosh
Yeah,
damn
they
it.
see it on the.
I know, fine,
picture.
fuck, it's Marrakesh.
Turn the
Gosh,
computer off, save the
Marrakesh is so fucking good. That game was so amazing. All right, that's my game. My moment, I think, of the weekend was playing Chinatown with you guys and seeing Kevin and really you, Jeff, because it was pretty much, we all knew the two of you were kind of vying for it.
two-horse race, I
but
think,
that moment was
toward the end.
cool. Because me and the Daves,
Yeah.
we were still having fun. It was still like, okay, let's get as much stuff as we can, and then we'll all vie for third place. Well, I knew I was behind, but it was really cool to kind of see Kevin, who I feel like he got stuck playing a lot of games this weekend that he was like typically doesn't enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like the
He
styles
doesn't-
of games.
yeah.
Like he's not good at. He doesn't like games that are
time.
like
a real time
timed.
game. I played it. Yeah.
He's
Right.
like, oh, I keep playing these, and then he's like, oh crap,
And then
now
he
I'm
played
playing a memory
negotiation.
game.
But when he said about it after we played Chinatown, he was like, I was like, so what did you think about that? You don't typically like negotiation. He was like, what was cool about this game is it was really easy for me to see the value of things.
Natalie, you'd still hate it. Don't let that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
okay,
you'd still hate it.
Yeah.
But he's like, it was really
That's
easy
why
for me
I
to
don't
see the
like it.
value of like, okay, I have this 5-tile city or shop
is worth
that could
this,
turn into a
exactly.
6. Like, I know what this is worth. I'm really bad at seeing the value, and I think I probably gave stuff away too cheaply, and that's probably why I didn't do well. But it's still just fun for me to be like, I'm going to give you this. But if this, and this happen, you have to.
If it came out, you would have been a lot.
And
it
at the
would have been
very
close.
end, all of those deals I made with you, with Kevin,
Yeah.
and with Dave McCown all hit. But it's
A
too
couple
late.
rounds too
yeah,
late.
a couple
Yeah.
rounds too late. But it was still cool when that happened. So I think my moment of the fest was watching you and Kevin and not knowing who was going to win Chinatown.
Yeah, that's
Play
was
Chinatown.
fun.
So it was cool.
Cool.
I had a great time. Natalie, what was your game of the weekend?
I'd say my game was also Marrakesh. It was
Spoiler.
more on that later.
okay, what about your
moron.
moment
Who's a moron?
of the weekend?
I don't know. I guess I'd say we also played Witchstone, which would be my third time playing it, and every time I played it with Sam, which is kind of funny.
That is funny.
But
You played it 3 times, all with Sam.
yeah,
That is funny.
the first time I played it with her here at our house, and then I
Before
played it with her again
Joe's.
at Nerdfest with Ben and M, and then we played it again
Oh,
at
that's
this month's
funny.
Nerdfest. But anyways, it just cemented how much I like that game. Like
Good.
I play it and I'm like, man, this is just so
And you're like,
fun.
man,
I love this.
how did Stefan Feld not design this game?
Yeah.
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 It feels.
It's funny.
totally
We
like it.
played with McDave Mick.
Yeah.
And he made a comment. He was like, this actually feels really Knizia to me. How the middle of the board is, he's like, Knizia likes to do that area kind of majority kind of thing. Like, if you think of Blue Lagoon
Sure,
or
the
Through the
movement,
Desert,
yeah.
where you're like getting,
that.
occupying territories and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to look at it, because most people say this
Yeah,
is a
just
Feld,
with-
this is a
yeah.
Feld design.
Yeah.
But it was cool that he didn't know that and then looked at it and saw it and was kind of like, I do see designer
cool.
Knizia
Yeah, that is cool.
in this one. All right, Jeff, we're back to you. So what was your moment, you think?
I'll give Sam a little shout out. So I wasn't 100% sure Sam was going until like 2 days before.
Yeah,
When
until
she
2 days
texted-
after.
Yeah, until
Was
she
Sam
left.
there?
Yeah. And she like texted me and she said, "What can I bring to this thing over the weekend?" I'm like, "Nothing." I'm like, "Just show up."
Not even
so that was pretty
clothes.
cool. Yeah. Not even you.
You better not bring anything.
Don't show up. It's canceled. So it was cool that she was able to just drive 2+ hours and just show up for a weekend.
It's
and
funny because when she used to live in the UP, to us we're like, man, 2 hours, that's fucking far.
Yeah.
But I bet to her, she's like, that's not even a big
Compared to
deal
that,
anymore.
yeah.
yeah, so it was cool. And then we also, everybody that was in the basement, I get to play games with a lot. And Sam and I got to play the Red Cathedral together, which again, we played at Nerdfest. So maybe I just play Red Cathedral with Sam
Yeah,
all the
it's
time.
the same
Right,
thing.
yeah.
And so that was cool that we got to play a game before she then drove 2.5 hours back home.
Back home.
So we'll give Sam a shout out. Sam showing up.
Was your moment of
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
fest.
that
Oh,
was
that's really
pretty
cool. That was
awesome.
really, really cool. Because,
Yeah.
she was probably the only one. I mean, not saying that she's not part of the group, because she is part of the group, but
Yeah.
the satellite group
Right.
You know,
yeah.
that she got to come
Well, it's also cool
to, which is
because
really cool.
she had a game group up in the UP, and then since she moved here, Kalamazoo a year ago, she hasn't really found a group to play games with, and so it's cool that she got to like have a weekend of games. Hopefully, she got that like
It's us.
itch scratched.
It was funny because she like left and she's like, "Let me know when you're on the west side of the state, or let me know the next time you're doing this." I'm like, "Well, January and then April," and then Joe was like, "Oh, I do my 24-hour things in November." I'm like,
Yeah.
you can probably
Just
just
put all
show
of those
up
on your
randomly
calendar.
Right.
whenever you want, and we're probably playing games.
We're playing games
Yeah.
somewhere. There's some sort of
Lots of game
fest
weekends,
going on.
yeah.
Exactly. Did you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we move forward?
No.
Oh, banter wise, still no.
Wow.
Whoa.
Still.
That seemed deliberate.
No.
That seemed like,
No.
like,
I'm just kidding. I'm just
Still
like
no.
move the fuck on.
Still
Jeff, have you been
no.
playing anything?
Yes, I'd want to drop a little shout out to Lauren Andy's. Lauren Andy. There's only one of them.
Oh,
Is that an
wow.
ice cream shop?
Lauren
Yeah.
Andy's?
Yeah, Lauren and Andy's.
And Andy's.
Okay.
We went over their place for
Oh,
the 4th
yeah,
of July.
that's right. Oh, shit, I
And-
was supposed to be funny this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Let's go back.
Okay.
Restart it. Yeah.
So, why did...
Welcome, bitches, to the Gamecasters.
Oh, that's good enough?
Oh, what's up,
Okay,
bitches?
maybe that's good
Yeah,
enough.
that's good.
Oh,
Just the fact that you
she
said
likes when I
bitches.
swear.
Yeah.
You called us bitches, so she already had her laugh.
She did. Well, I almost started it with the word sluts.
Oh,
And then I decided... I was like, I need to be a lot more family friendly.
there you go. Yeah, it really worked itself
Bitches
out.
came out.
Earlier today, he was like, I sat down to script, and I was like, all I got out was, "What's up, sluts?" And then he's
Yeah.
like, and then I had to take care of something for work.
Yeah. I was like, I got
You
one
nailed it.
line.
You
I got
nailed
one
it.
line so far.
So we go over there. I think this is our 4th or 5th year going, maybe even 6th. We've done. They keep moving around
Seventh.
the country, and because Andy's job moves him around, he works for a car company, and he keeps moving. And we've done like New Year's over there, where we go to we've done like a hotel and then had like a New Year's party kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now we've done 4th of July. It's easier for summer and the kids, so we go over there, and I have to listen to fucking fireworks on the 4th of July.
Oh,
which
no.
pissed me off. And then of course, I'm like, the fucking fireworks.
Yeah, like
I'm
at
gonna blame
2
it
in the
on the
morning.
fucking fireworks, but they just keep going. And my daughter Millie couldn't sleep on the 4th of July and literally stayed up from midnight until 5 a.m.
Oh,
I just
no.
hung out with her in the middle of the
And you're
fucking
like not even home.
yeah. So that was a nightmare. Anyway, but we got to play a couple. We played a couple games of Nana,
Nah.
which is just
Nana,
so
Nana.
fucking good.
It's great.
And then everybody felt stupid. We played That's Not a Hat. And then we also played a game which I've talked about in the past. I don't remember how many episodes ago. It's called Unsolved Case Files. Okay, I talked about it.
I've heard of this.
Yeah.
It's at Target. Okay, you can go to Target and they have 1, 2, or 3 different
do we have
versions
one of these?
them.
I was like, did
You
Jo-
might have
did
one. I
Joe
might have
give us
given-
one?
No,
Yeah,
we have
Joe-
Hunt a Killer.
Okay.
Oh,
But
Unsolved
Joe
Case
has
Files.
probably given
Is
you
that the one that looks like a manila envelope?
It's just a manila envelope.
Joe
and
gave
it's
us
full
one.
of
Yeah.
stuff.
We haven't done it, but we have
So
one.
there is some direction, but it doesn't have this progression of here are 2 cards, solve the puzzle, then flip over the next card. You have a manila envelope of a bunch of stuff.
Like you're a real detective, and you
and
have
I
to just
love
figure
that
shit
about
out.
it. Yeah. So but it tells you goal number 1 is to find this, figure out what happened.
So you like
and
that you
then-
get all this stuff up front?
Yeah. At first, I was like, oh
And there's
man,
no
that's kind of
certain
tough.
direction to go. You just gotta
You just
figure
kind
it
of
out.
start piecing things together, and it seems the experience is cool.
Okay.
I've talked about unlocks and exits and even though 50 clues from it, those things endlessly. This has a much different feel than all of those games, and I really appreciate it. We played the one Avery and Zoe Gardner. So they each have unsolved case files, and then it's a person's name or the thing itself. This one is the best one that I have played. So if that game sounds interesting and you look into this kind of stuff, or you're looking for some game night, murder mystery night where you just buy something and there's no rules and you just kind of open it up
Those
and
are my
go.
favorite kinds of nights.
Buy that one.
Okay.
The other
Avery
ones
and
are still
Ebony and Avery.
are girls getting killed, but this one is Avery and Zoe.
God.
That's stupid.
That's kind of what they are. And but look for that one. They're
Okay.
these 2 twins. Something
Yeah.
happens to them. You'll figure it out. But that was the best one
What happens to the
No.
twins?
series.
Well, maybe.
No, that's-
He didn't tell us.
Well,
We don't know. You can't
right in the
spoil
beginning,
it.
one's dead.
They died.
Oh.
Yeah,
All right. The necrophilia files.
yeah. Ugh.
Natalie, gross.
Natalie.
Jeez, why would you think
But
that?
I
and
thought
put
this
that in
one
my
was
brain?
cool because there was a whole bunch of business cards in there, and the business cards had phone numbers and websites, which you have to use.
Okay.
Which is kind of
Ooh, that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat.
Kind of like detective.
So we spent basically, I think, even
You
Right.
are a detective.
No, there's a game called Detective.
I
Yeah.
know. But I mean,
Natalie.
of course, it's like detective, and you're solving a case.
Yeah, but I meant like it feels like
Like
Detective.
if it feels like a detective.
Like a detective.
Like a detective.
I'm a detective.
The detective.
Are you a detective?
And so we spent basically, I don't know what day it was, but we just had it out on the table and we would walk by and like look at stuff or like we'd yell or text about what we saw in our, as we're like playing with the kids or whatever. So it was kind of
okay.
it was a cool experience.
Picture you just literally, you have to walk by. You can't stop.
Yeah.
You just walk by. I think I saw some newspaper.
What is it? Does that say your name on the back of
You're
that?
drinking your coffee while you're like reading
Yeah.
this like case
Yeah.
file.
Goss about these dead twins.
Okay.
Ew, don't say
We got to talk about this game now. I'm going to go back to episode 116.
Oh, shit.
There was an edit
How do you remember that far?
in 116, last episode.
There was?
Maybe
Oh,
you can
yeah.
find it, okay? It happened during the
You
game
won't.
of
Ryan's
the
a
episode.
master.
Now, during the game of the episode, if you don't remember this, the game of the last episode was see how
A to
many
Z.
see how many games Jeff doesn't fucking remember ever. But
That was so
it was
funny.
name 5 games for each of the letters as we were going bam 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 bam.
Yep.
Bam. Okay, we get to this letter E. I say Everdell.
Yep.
And then Natalie says something, and then I say something, and I'm like, just maybe name some Everdell expansions.
Well, it was
And
on
then-
the table.
It was partially my fault, but
And
keep going.
then Natalie is like, and Ryan trying to help points to a box.
Yep.
And then Natalie says the word Everdell Farshore.
And immediately we're
And
like,
then we're
oh,
like,
no!
You're not allowed to say
fuck.
that.
And why that's shocking is because we weren't allowed to say the name of that game for another 5 days. So we had to
Right.
cut that
It was
out
like
of the
Beetlejuice.
episode. Yeah. It was under embargo for the next few more days. And we weren't even allowed to say it.
That word sounds so official. I like when I say
yeah.
embargo. I feel very important when I say
embargo.
it. It's embargo.
It's
so I couldn't
embargo.
say it was under embargo.
So that was absolutely hilarious. So we had to like stop and then
Stop
we
the
like went
game.
back.
Oh,
and
yeah.
kept going. So if you listen to the last episode, we actually say like Natalie was like, "Oh, seemed like a long 5 minutes," and then Ryan was like, "Well, we had to stop for some
had a
reason.
thing.
That's why we had to
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
because
There was a lot
But
of
you'll
verbal
never
abuse we
guess
had to
where
levy
we
towards
stopped
Natalie.
because Ryan's like a master editor.
No, it just lucked out.
well,
that
we went to school for it.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I played it back and she was like, "Where did it even happen?" I'm like, "Right there."
Right there.
And then she sucked my dick. Okay, sorry.
So we all
You were
know
excited.
Everdell. So Ryan and Natalie and I got a message, actually separately,
Separately, yeah.
inviting us to the ever expanding world of Everdell. Okay.
I like that. The ever expanding world
Like
of
that.
Everdell.
Basically telling us that there is a new Everdell game in the Everdell universe, and do you want to try it?
Yep.
And fuck yeah, we want to
We
try
do.
it.
Send that to us, please.
Yep. Usually if you're like, hey, we're an established company and we have a game coming out, and you're like, do you want to play it? My answer is going to be, yeah.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, I do. So,
But this one had a little bit of extra embargo to it.
yeah, because it was...
Yeah,
It
it's
was a
like,
special
all they
letter.
said was like, they were just like, it's a new game in the Everdell universe. And we were like,
Yes.
oh, yes.
Yep.
Give it all to
And
me.
it seemed like this was like, this is what they're doing now, right? They have declared that Everdell OG. Everdell proper, Everdell whatever, is done.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yep.
So they did the collector's edition. They did this fucking house that you can put it all in, this giant box.
It's enormous.
Right?
We gave
They're
one
done.
away at Nerdfest.
Done as
this
in
year.
Yeah.
there's no more stuff they're going to do for
Right.
it, or they're done printing it.
No, there's no more expansions for
Okay.
regular Everdell. So
They
you
will
have the
continue
complete,
to print it if people keep buying it.
right.
Yeah.
You have the complete collection of Everdell. There might be like a promo card here, there,
Right.
whatever. But they're done printing expansions. That is now like there's a done. So it seemed like that message to us was, all right, now that this is done, we are going to continue this cute world, and we're going to make
Yeah, the
a
next
new
one.
game, the next
Oh, so
Everdell
happy
game.
about
So
that.
that was really, and it was also, like Ryan said, embargo.
So
Embargo.
nobody
It was cool to
knew
know stuff.
what this was.
All they told us was what I just said. They were just like, we're working on a new game in the Everdell universe. Are you interested in checking it out?
Okay, so when you open the box, that's the first like you ever like, knew a thing about it.
Yeah. There's no pictures. There was no BGG entry.
There
was
wasn't a
nothing.
BGG entry until
The
the day
the
that
6th.
it like blew up everywhere. So let's talk about this game.
Okay.
So again, this is called Everdell Farshore. One, like 2 words. There's no colon or anything. It's just Everdell Farshore. Set in the world of Everdell, and actually plays really similarly.
You don't say.
Let's talk about it. So in this worker placement, engine building, hand management game,
Nice.
if you have played Everdell before, this is not going to be a surprise. This is not like, just hear me out. Okay? Players lead a group of critters working to build their prosperous city and explore enchanting oceans.
You know what's funny? That kind of sounds like Everdell.
It kind of, well, I said the word oceans.
Oh, right. That's the kind of.
Instead of forests.
Okay, yeah.
So I
Good
said
point.
oceans. Okay.
Good point.
All right.
Land versus
so
sea.
on their turn, like in Everdell, players choose either play a card or place a worker. Placing workers get you cool resources, which are like squishy things or other squishy things or cool little, those little gem things are kind of cool.
Those are really cool.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I like those.
So you place the workers to get the resources in order to play the cards that are in your hand or in the bay, which in Everdell is called the meadow.
Down by the meadow.
I think it's called meadow.
I think so.
Let's go with it. These cards are critter cards, they're construction cards, and they essentially build your engine, give you points throughout the game, give you bonuses, all this kind of stuff. As players run out of things to do, they pass just like in Everdell, which basically moves the game into different phases. You can be in different phases. You can be done with the game when someone else is done. Play continues until everyone finishes their 4th season, because there are 4 seasons.
Oh, like in real life.
Like in the real life. Well, most of the some of the world only has like one. But even though if you just live in a really, really tropical place, you still call it winter. Right?
Yeah, you still experience winter. It's just
it's
you don't
not
experience
cold.
snow.
It's just cooler than normal.
Yeah.
which for them is winter.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Everdell Farshore. This is, again, Everdell Farshore. It is extremely hard to not talk about Everdell when you're talking about Farshore. It's almost impossible because it's in the name of the game.
You can't not say it.
So I'm going to say, when I'm differentiating these two, I'm going to call Everdell Farshore.
And then call the other one regular Dell.
And I'm going to call it, I'm going to call the other one Everdell. They're almost indistinguishable from each other. If you know the rules to Everdell, I would be able to teach you Everdell Farshore in 3 minutes.
Yep, if that.
If you came in, so if it was just Dave and I playing, so I've played it now twice. I played it with Devin, and then the 4 of us played it with Dave. And if it was just Dave and we could have gotten in 3 minutes. You guys needed a little refresher, and that was cool. But even then, as soon as I started teaching it,
we knew what to do.
Okay, you know, I know what to do. I know this game. So instead of we're gonna delve into some other things. I want to talk about the biggest changes. Okay, this is what I think people want to hear more than some other stuff. So the biggest changes to this game, and what I think are actually its highlights. There is that meadow or bay. There's this public cards that you can grab or build or whatever. There is a rule now in this game that if the same card comes up, they get stacked on top of each other to not take up as much room in the bay and just give more choices on cards. That is also something that I have read that people are just adding into regular Everdell. Like it's a very easy, I'll call
variant.
it house rule variant.
Yeah, you're right.
And people are doing that. That's a great thing. The more cards you see in this game, the better. That's always in these engine building, hand management game. You want to see as many cards as possible because the more you see, the better your engine can be. Number 2 is that players move up this boat track when you play cards that match a season's goal, which is a new thing. So, for example, in the first season, if you play a critter and or a purple symbol, you move up your boat on this boat track, which is just around the board. And every time you move up, you're going to get points at the end of the game for moving up, and there's also a way to get wild resources, which helps a ton when you are struggling to get the mushroom that you need or the seaweed that you need. Getting that boat up there gets you a wild resource, and if you're crafty enough to not use those resources, they're worth 2 points at the end of the game, which is cool.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. That was actually my favorite improvement from Everdell to Farshore, was that boat track and the thought process of, I don't want to play this card right now because it doesn't match either of the goals. That made me think
Underwater
differently.
Cities? Did that give you an Underwater Cities vibe?
I don't know, maybe. No.
Because you're like, I want to play this card, but I want to take that action, but I don't have the card for it yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I wait.
Yeah, it's if you just wait a little bit, like, Ryan's about to pass, so we're going to change over. So maybe the next thing will
match one of these.
Will match what I'm doing, or I'm going to play this card, which is a little suboptimal, but then it bumps me up on this track. It was one extra layer of thought that I enjoyed while playing that. The third difference is there is no direct combination, like free card that you can get anymore. So, for example, in Everdell, if you played Everdell, if you play the farm, you can play the farmer for free. Or if you play the post office, you can play the pigeon for free. And it says, all right, you either need to pay this or have this in your city to automatically build it. That is gone in this. There is no free combinations of cards. Every player starts with 3 anchors that allow you to build a critter card for free if you have a construction of a matching color. That is also, in my opinion, a huge improvement and lessens the randomness of the game. You can luck into something flipping over that seems to help you the best, but to sit and play Everdell and watch someone continue to get the combinations over and over and over and over again and you not get them blows. And it's awesome when you get them. Like when you get those combos going in you know, pizza and cheese. And
when it's happening to you,
when it's Natalie's
like, wow.
favorite snack and you're just fucking rolling.
Combos.
That feels good in the moment. But this lowers that randomness. Everybody can do it 3 times. And that's it.
Puzzles are such a cool component.
Yeah,
and
they're
the
like
anchors
metal.
are like metal and you just want to touch them on your
jingle
fingertips.
them.
You wanna
They're
play with
sweet.
them.
Me and Dave were making them into
Me
the...
too.
me and
Monkeys
Dave and
in a
Natalie
barrel.
were making them into monkeys in a barrel.
I was.
I said it first.
Barrel of monkeys, not monkeys in a barrel. Barrel of monkeys.
Sassy from Ted Lasso. And then the last biggest change, in my opinion, were the goals for the game have changed a little bit. There's no like monuments to build or whatever they're called. There's just kind of this in-game goals, and they're all the same every game, and they don't correlate to specific cards, which in Everdell it does, and have been changed in expansions. So, last couple sentences, and then I'll let you guys talk. There's definitely a lot that I like from Farshore, even if it does feel extremely similar to Everdell. The changes from Everdell, Farshore. Wait, let me go back. The changes from Everdell to Farshore, I think, improve base version. All right. Production is, I think the production is incredible. There is zero surprise in the production out of Starling, and the artwork is
It's gorgeous.
gorgeous. It's not Andrew Bosley, but it
Feels
still
like it.
fucking
It looks
beautiful.
very similar.
And you wouldn't even like.
I almost feel like because she worked on what's her? We don't have her name. We need her name. She worked on My Little Everdell with Andrew Bosley. They were both on that game, and it was almost like, okay, here's the training game to learn my style, and then she did his style on Farshore, and it's just as beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
she did
it's
a great
beautiful.
job.
And then Devin and I got through it very quickly. The 2 of us played in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
The 4 of us played in just over an hour, about an hour and 15 or so. The 4 of us got through.
Jacqui Davis is her name.
Okay, Jacqui Davis. Has she done anything else?
That's a great Viticulture Essential Edition, Euphoria, Stockpile, Coliseum, 97 others.
Oh, wow.
So a couple
not
things.
really.
So she's
Not
established.
really. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she's
that's
done
great.
a ton.
So my ending thing is the question, and I don't have an answer to it. I kind of do. I have an opinion to it. Is this game necessary? I don't know. What do you guys think? Go ahead.
I do want to talk about that. Did you want to go first? Do you have thoughts you want to go first? Or
Counterclockwise.
Sure. I mean, it's been a few years since I played this game, since I played Everdell. And so I didn't really remember a ton about the gameplay. So I feel like I can't really
probably
speak
good.
on the comparison.
That's okay. Maybe that's a great thing to then talk about.
I don't know. All I can really say is that the art is beautiful. The components are just as awesome. You know, they're cute and fun and like quality. And I liked the theme of this one, but I also like the theme of the other one. But for me, like
waters or forest.
right.
right.
I don't know. I thought the game was enjoyable, but I'm not like, I wasn't like super excited about it. Like I like had a fun time and I was like, cool, that was fun. And then like moved on. You know, I wasn't like, you know,
You weren't wowed,
I can't wait
but
to
you
get
weren't
back.
angered.
I can't wait to play this again. And even if I played it again, I'd enjoy it. I'd be like, yeah, cool. I'd like to play it again. But I don't know. It didn't really like stand out. But I feel like that's what we thought about the other Everdell too. So I feel like my feelings are the same about it. But again, I can't remember the other one enough to compare the differences. That's really all I got.
Let me interrupt you. Who got you a Stanley mug? Is this new?
You can't? Oh, she can't.
What? It's embargo.
It is. It's
was
embargoed.
free.
I forgot
All I'll
she
say
can't.
is it was free.
And we're back.
And
So,
we're back.
all right, there's something.
I know everything.
Now he knows.
I know.
Don't you guys wish you knew? So there was something that I before I talk about my thoughts on Farshore, you and me were just talking and kind of like riffing off each other, Jeff, a few minutes ago, and it made me think of this Australian podcast I listen to called We Got the Chocolates. Have you heard of them?
What?
They're called We Got the
You
Chocolates.
listen to a podcast called We Got the Chocolates, and I've never heard of this.
It's on. I watch it on YouTube. Like while I'm working, I put it on. It's great. You've definitely seen them. They do dad jokes. You've probably seen them on reels
Oh,
or
are
shorts.
they like the
doing
ones that
dad
like you
jokes.
try not to laugh?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I just side note.
This is my story.
You're gonna be upset with me.
Oh, great. Well,
Cool.
You had a story that you were gonna tell us in the banter, and you didn't.
I did?
About Garth Brooks?
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
All right, I'll tell that in a minute. But, okay,
118,
one at a time. All right, so you're right. So I was watching this episode of the We Got the Chocolates podcast, and it's really entertaining. I think you'd like it, Jeff. And they were playing a game, and the game they were playing had like sub games in it, and one of the sub games they played was rock paper scissors.
Okay.
But in Australia, they don't call it rock paper scissors.
Oh, what do they call it?
They call it paper scissors rock.
Shut up. It's the same word?
Yeah.
Just a
And
different order?
so we go rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Right?
Yeah.
They go paper, scissors, rock. Paper, scissors, rock. That's how they do it.
Okay.
Isn't that fucking
Rock,
weird?
paper, scissors.
Why would that
Yeah.
be different?
Paper,
Why is there like a
scissors, rock.
I
cultural
know.
difference between Australians and
Yeah.
Americans how we do rock, paper, scissors?
Maybe it's
Paper,
because the water
scissors,
spins
rock.
differently in the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they go counterclockwise.
Yeah.
We go clockwise, whatever it is. So Everdell.
random.
Sure. Okay, so something made me think of that earlier that me and Jeff were talking about. I don't fucking remember because I'm a stupid idiot who doesn't remember anything he says 5 seconds after he says it. Some people will come to me and be like,
Nice.
remember that thing you said that was funny? And I'm like, no.
No.
I know.
It goes on in
People
my brain
will comment on the
immediately.
podcast the day after we record and like release it, and like the next day, someone in the Discord will be like they'll reference something but won't say like what it was, and Ryan's like, "What are they talking about?"
And then we immediately go to our chat and go, do you know what
do you know what that is?
And I'm like, "You don't
Yeah, it's
remember?
from
You said
this.
this about this dolphin," and you're just like, "Oh, no."
Nailed it.
Yeah, it was the time I can remember. It's happened a shit ton. The time that I can remember the most is somebody was like arm, and I was like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
But that was every time we said seal,
Yeah.
we were like arm,
Yeah.
and I completely forgot. So I kind of missed Everdell. We got rid of it so long ago now that I've kind of been feeling like, did I act too rashly? We
Yeah.
only played it a few times, and the first time we really, really enjoyed it.
And
The
just
second
the base,
time,
right? You had just the base game.
I had a bunch of
Pearlbrook.
expansions. We played
Oh, you did?
Pearlbrook.
Okay.
So maybe we played it 3 times.
Anyway.
I think we only played it twice.
The first time we really enjoyed it. The second time we were very disillusioned by it. But I
Just
always
underwhelmed.
disillusioned. But I always we were very disillusioned by it. But I
Natalie
always
says, and Ryan agrees, we were underwhelmed.
we were underwhelmed. But I always wonder why I was disillusioned by it and how much my mood affected things like that. And as it did have really great play the first time, like we loved it the first time. And so I was always kind of wondering. So when this came in the mail, I was really excited to give it a try, and give it a try did I. I really enjoyed the same things with this that I enjoy with regular Dell. I like the
Regular
components.
Dell.
I like the artwork.
Dude, you're getting an Everdell.
The general idea of tableau building. Did I say that right? Tableau building? Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
weird. The quick turns.
Tableauing.
Yeah. It has a lot to like on paper, cardboard. But what I found though, what I found was mostly the same feelings I had during the last play of regular Dell. It was fine, but not really fun. I won't say it's not fun. I just will say I wasn't having it. I didn't really find any particular turn that exciting or difficult, and it felt like the cards were mostly the same and weren't that exciting or interesting, personally. Not a problem with the game, just a problem with me enjoying it. I also didn't really like the broats that you used to go along the track. They were much too large, I thought, and could easily get confused with where they were supposed to be on the track.
Oh, the actual boats.
The actual broats, not
the mechanic of
the
how to move
mechanic
them.
of the track. I agree with you, was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved, particularly, I loved those tokens that you could use as anything because you really need them.
anchors.
Right.
Not the anchors.
Oh, like
the wild.
Yeah.
the wild
yeah.
resources. I loved, because I loved that they were like, half the token was like 2 points, and
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
like, "Fuck!"
You're always like always in
because
your
there was a
face,
part
yeah.
at the game. I had 10 of them in front of me because I had a couple cards that gave me 3 of them when I activated them, and so I got like 10 of them, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's 20 points! I got 20 points right here." But I don't have any resources,
Yeah.
and so my
Yeah.
next turn, I'm like, I can't do nothing.
So you're spending
So I have
points
to
to
spend.
get
I've
points.
spent so many of those fucking things.
So yeah, the boats are
Let's go
too
back to the
big.
broats. The broats were much too large and could easily get confused with where they were supposed to be. They were too big to put on the track itself, so you had to put them. You had to like point them at the number off the board like an arrow, and that felt a little clunky. And it was just a little bit of an irritation. The lighthouse cardboard thing that replaces the Evertree is, I think, even less necessary than the Evertree. It's less necessary. You still don't want to be sitting behind it, and it just only divides the cards. Yeah, it's just a card divider.
Yeah, it's
you
yeah.
could put something on it, I think, but
Devin and I, with the two of us, because you have to put three meeples. You can't fit If you're playing a 4-player game,
you can't
fit
fucking
12.
fit them. It's tiny.
Devin and I barely fit the 3 that we needed on there, and I just put them up there as like a.
So yeah, I thought that was superfluous and only for aesthetics, which is kind of similar to the Evertree. You're not so like Jeff said, you're going to find all the stuff you found in Everdell in here. And overall, I thought the game was fine. It was good, not great for me, which is also how I'd personally describe Everdell. So it didn't do, to Jeff and Natalie's point, it didn't do anything
To put
better
it over
or
the top.
worse.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess they did do a couple things better. Maybe the anchor mechanic. I don't remember from regular Everdell, but Joe said that is in one of the expansions. That mechanism.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I told him about it, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's in this expansion."
Oh, okay.
And then also, I think putting cards, like you said, over top of the other cards, that's also
just
in
become a
regular
thing, I
Everdell.
think.
So it sounds like the only real difference was the brotes and the season tiles.
Yeah.
That you need to use the brotes. But the interesting conversation I think we need to have is what Jeff said a second ago, is where does this version fit? And maybe the question of why it exists in the first place. The game is Everdell. It's the same fucking game. It doesn't feel like a better version of Everdell to me. It doesn't feel like it fixed glaring issues. It changed some things for the better, which we've talked about. But if you don't have either game, I still don't know that I can recommend you getting this over Everdell because of the simple fact that Everdell is so highly expandable. This one isn't coming in at a lesser price point either, so that doesn't really work. And it's just a bit of a mystery to me why it exists. If you hate expansions and only ever play base games and you prefer water themes, maybe this is the version for you.
Yeah, maybe that's the target audience.
But they had a real chance to make a game in the Everdell universe that felt like Everdell, but was a different mechanical game. Make something different, a deck builder instead of a tableau builder, area majority game, or a game like Takedo where you go on a path, take actions that you can go backward only in the Everdell universe. That would be cool. The potential was limitless, and instead of doing something like that, they just made a less expandable Everdell for the same cost that nobody asked for.
Yeah, and I
Right.
don't know is the plan, and I don't know this. is the plan to make 4 or 5 expansions to this?
And then
also?
are they going to also be similar to the
But
other
where-
expansions?
Yeah, or
I mean,
or is
Yeah.
the plan to go, oh, well, our next expansion is going to deviate even further from Everdell, but it's like, I don't know if you did enough in this one to make me want to buy 5 of this game.
Yeah.
Or trust that path.
Well, maybe they're just banking on, so like Everdell, I feel like is so huge that people, I mean, besides just the game, they just love it. They love the art, and they've done so many like adjacent things. Like there's puzzles and all kinds of different like playing cards and all kinds of different things that aren't even part of the game that people that they're selling. Or when we go to Gen Con, like there's all this extra stuff that you can just get because you like it and it's pretty. And you know, they've kind of done all that they can with the base or like the regular Everdell. And maybe they're like, well, I need to, you know, we want to keep going with this. Like, people love this. And I think that there would honestly be like nothing wrong with having another game like this with like a re-theme and it's very similar if people were like into like collecting all the stuff and it was like $30. But like for it to be not doing anything different and what do you think it's like $70?
Yeah, I think it's like 70,
You know,
75
like that's
bucks.
kind of a lot.
You'll end up getting-
that's a
it'll
big
come
chunk
down,
of
right,
change
at
to
the end of
just
the day.
like
Right.
have just because even if you don't need it.
Yeah, and you said like a lot of good things with like if you know how many there's listeners out there and people out there that have 20 Ticket to Rides, and it's like all that is a different map.
Right.
They're like, oh, but it adds. Yeah, it's the same, right? It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
same
Or you have 10 Dominions, or you have 10 Ascensions, and like you know,
But the Dominions are all like, you can usually add the cards into the
right.
other ones.
Yeah, they're all slightly. Yeah, right. And you know, I have the Pirate Ascension. What the hell's that?
Yeah,
called?
those you can all
that
mix
adds
and match
something
mostly,
slightly
right?
different. There's like this pirate token that moves around. Like that's like the little addition that they add. Is that the goal?
Like that's what they're trying to do?
The goal to say, all right, well, if they can do it, if Catan can make Star Trek, and I can, then I can make an Everdell series of different Everdell games because people collect it.
Mm-hmm.
People like the tableau building. They like Everdell. Obviously, it's one of the top. Is it in the top 100?
So then do you think it's a money grab?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the next steps are with this thing. So I'm going to keep this game because I don't have Everdell.
Same.
I am not going to. I don't want the giant Everdell.
Same.
And I also don't need it because both of my brothers have it, so I don't need that.
Same.
And
Your brothers have it. I don't need it.
I am like I'll happily play Everdell. Dave is going to pick Everdell pretty soon because we got the new expansion. He has the Mistwood and something else expansion, so we're going to play that. And I'm happy to review it and see that. But if it's like, all right, I have one game, and I'm the person that hates expansions. I'm not going to spend $500 on Everdell Giant Box.
Yes.
I'm going to go get one. I'm either going to get base Everdell or I'm going to get Everdell Farshore and nothing else. I think Farshore is better.
Are they competing with
If
themselves
you're just-
this way?
Yeah, if you're just doing base.
with just Everdell,
Right, true.
like you said, like what if I buy Everdell and I love it? Of course I want to expand.
Yeah, now they're cutting off the possibility of their customers to expand out at regular Everdell by
it's
making a
weird thing
competing
because,
version.
Like Natalie said, like I liked it. Like I liked the game,
did
but I
like
also
it.
like Everdell.
Yeah.
It's just the question that's running through my head, and I would love to talk to someone more. Maybe I will reach out more and just be like,
Why?
What's the plan? Like why this? Why this game?
Maybe I'll ask Starling specifically.
Yeah, I might.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
like,
that's what he's saying.
what was the idea? What you're in the war room and you're like, all right, guys, here we go. Next game. What is it going to be? How about we do Everdell? But guess what? Oh, you're going to change it? Yeah. This time you're at the water. Didn't Pearlbrook do that? No. The whole thing is water themed.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I very much lived in this weird place after playing it because I don't have a ton of negative things to say about the game. It's not
True.
broken.
No,
it's not
yeah, the
bad.
game's great.
It doesn't need
Why?
to exist.
Yeah. What is it? Who wants this?
Yeah.
Because again, like I agree with you where I think it's cool that, okay, I'll just buy this and then I don't have to expand anything. Maybe that there's a little untapped market for people who hate expansions and they're like, well, maybe we can get them on board with this. You know, maybe they're not
Then we'll make it
trying
Right,
to.
they'll take
expansion,
like you don't
Yeah.
need an expansion to like fix this little issue. It's all just like streamlined in this one.
Yeah, but I feel like,
know.
I don't know. They didn't change enough personally. I don't know. It's weird.
Right.
It is a good game.
Yeah.
You know, I did think it was
Yes.
good. It felt
I
like
agree.
Everdell.
It's
Right,
just
it
the way
was just-
it's weird.
But if I
It's a
were to
weird feeling I
recommend
have.
Everdell, I'm going to recommend Everdell because if you liked it, then go get Pearlbrook. Go get one of the other 7 expansions for it. If you really like Farshore, that's all so far. That's all you can get.
Right. And maybe that's the next few steps. Maybe there's more embargo. I don't know any more embargo.
Yeah, maybe they didn't tell us about the embargo. It's no secret that my gaming hose has more kink than a horny 18-year-old with daddy issues. And this analogy is actually more appropriate than you might think. If gaming is like our sex drives, then I think I'm going through menopause. I feel hot all the time. I'm moody. I'm irritable, maybe slightly depressed. My desire for gaming severely decreased. It's just not as fun for me as it once was, which is sad. But it's a fact that all us women will go through eventually, and yet still manage to find happiness. Well, along came Keshi the pool boy, shirtlessly vacuuming in the backyard to turn these hot flashes into scalding inflamed loins of desire. I want you, Keshi. Take me. And take me he did.
Wow.
I'm a woman in this example.
Are you kinked again?
Yeah, I'm a little kinked again.
He's a little kinky.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
a couple
totally.
months ago you were unkinked.
I was.
Now you're back to kinked.
It's like spurts. Kinked is almost not the right word. It's menopause. I think I'm in menopause. My drive is just low. It's just like kind of low. However, Marrakesh. New game designed by Feld Condom that was released way back in 2022, which means it's an old classic now, right? Board to play. Players are playing their players to play. Okay, I have to stop for a moment. We like to talk on this show about dual layered player boards and haha, if you can get them, you should. Hee hee hoo hoo. Well, let me tell you that I think I might have played the game that has maybe the best iteration of a dual layered player board I've ever witnessed in my life in this game.
Damn.
The board is massive, like a too large poop in need of a player board knife, and the entire thing is dotted with places to place your catchies, which is just a slightly racist sounding way of saying workers that was created by Feld Condom. We were like looking
it's
up
not a
like,
real thing.
what is a catchy? That kind of sounds, I kind of don't like the way that sounds out of my mouth. And it turns out, Kevin read in the rule book, it's literally just
A name for the
little wooden components
Yeah.
taken from Marrakesh.
Right.
But Marrakesh is a city.
Marrakesh is a city
So
in
Marrakesh is
Morocco or
in Morocco.
somewhere.
The people there are
But the
apparently
people are not called
They're not called
Catchies.
catchies.
All right.
And if they are, maybe they don't like that.
Yeah, maybe they don't.
You really have to see it to understand, but this is the most glorious dual layered player board in existence, which now needs to be a future top 5. Okay, back to the game. In Marrakesh's, players are trying to earn the most points by taking actions in one of a multitude of different spots over the course of the game that get better and better as the game goes on. The game plays over 3 rounds, and each round is made up of 4 turns. Each player starts with 12 different colored keshis. which remember are like the racist worker things. Each player secretly picks 3 of these Keshis each turn, and the colors correspond to different action spaces on your board. Once revealed, each player then takes all of the Keshis that everyone had, so if there's 4 players, you got 12 of them, and drops them into this cube tower of pointlessness. As the Keshis aren't cubes, they're like those cylinders with the flat sides, like in Keyflower.
Yep.
Right? And then when they come out, they get organized by color, and then the players go around the table picking them all. And once they're all taken, players will then take the associated actions. The thing is that you are only allowed to take the action of the Keshis you chose to drop into the tower. So you have 12 choices of colors, and you got to pick 3 of these 12 colors, and those are the only actions you're allowed to take that turn.
Ooh.
But the Keshis you take. Sorry.
The reason you are taking the Keshis is to increase the effectiveness of the action they're associated with. For instance, there are tracks you move up on during the game. One is white and another is black. And when you take a white or a black Keshi, before you move up the track, you move up by however many Keshis you currently have on that action space. So if you choose a white Keshi to drop into the tower, you are also committing to taking the white action. And if you don't choose any white Keshis during the selection phase, you still have to take that white action, only going up the track with however many you already had there, instead of also adding 1 or 2 instead. So you go around the table. We drop the 12 Keshis in the cube tower of pointlessness. We separate the Keshis into colors, and then whoever's turn it is first picks. So if your turn, Jeff, and there's 2 white ones in there, you're like, I'm going to take those 2 white ones.
Okay.
So let's say me and Natalie dropped the white ones in there. But you were like, I'm going to take those 2 white. Even though you didn't put a white Keshi in there, so you're not taking the white action this turn, you can still take those white Keshis to pump up your white track for a future turn.
But now, can you not?
Now, I can't take the white Keshis to increase my white action, but I still have to take the white action on my turn.
Ooh.
So if
I had no Keshis in there, I don't do anything.
Sucks. But as the rounds go on, you're building up Keshis. So like after the first round, like you usually will, even if you don't get the Keshis for that color, and you take the action, you'll have some stuff to do still. It just won't increase what you can do.
There are tons of different actions to move up tracks, to go down a river, to make trades at a bazaar, to get goods or tiles that score points, or actions that allow you to purchase tiles that grant bonuses or powers, or actions that give you resources or get you points by building out a castle, or a little rondelle type action that grants you ways to do any of the previous ones. And they're all good. They're all important. And most importantly, you must do all of them each round, because you have 12, 1 of every color. That means you must do all 12 of those at least once, because you can only pick 3 each time. So the first time I take 3, right? Now I have 9 left. And then I take 3 more, and then 3 more, and then finally the last 3, right? So you're doing every action at least once. And figuring out when to take what action, depending on what you get to select, what Keshis you get to select, is really important, and the juiciest decision I found in the game personally. So things I liked. Have I talked about the dual-layer player board? This thing has more holes than a Japanese brothel, and I would imagine that it feels just as satisfying filling them with your wood.
Oh, boy.
The decision of when to play what Keshi is the heart of this game for me, and created some really tense and satisfying decisions as I look over at Mr. Measles' board and see that he's battling me on the river track, and if he takes that action this round, he'll be in front of me. So I better put on my blue Keshi into the tower as I'm picking before him, so I'll be able to nab that blue Keshi, hopefully, and use it to move first. And that stuff was so fun to figure out. It was also fun to figure out what tiles to shoot for and how to spend your turn. All of that was really, really great fun. The feel and flow of the game was everything I want in a game. It gave me Burgundy vibes, not in the way it played, but in terms of the flow that we always talk about. And that's huge, because it's the number one impossible to quantify thing that I look for in a game, and a surefire way to get onto an essentials list. Things I didn't like so much. This game is not without its flaws. I missed the first Kickstarter, as did Jeff, and then backed the Essential Edition, as did Jeff, and our hearts sank to the bottom of my stomach after I played Mr. Measles' copy and went to Kickstarter and realized that the player boards that we're getting are single layered.
I only have one person to blame.
And she's typing. It's you.
It's Natalie.
You're the problem. It's you. Hi. I honestly might seek out the kick-ass big boy edition, because playing the game on a single layered board isn't something I can afford, and I'm scared.
Yeah.
The setup to this game is a monster. There are so many components to put out and tiles to sort and things to move around. I think the edition I'm getting that Jeff and I are getting, I should say, has component trays. That should hopefully alleviate this, because, man, this thing needs a dedicated insert like crazy.
Speaking of component trays, if you're looking for component trays,
head over to modernmeeple.com. I could see not playing the game often due to not having Modern Meeple component trays.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer because this game is so fucking good. The game also is an incredible table hog. The Essential Edition we're getting is really streamlining the entire thing down. Everything is just smaller, which is good for ease of play.
And you can play those at Mini-Nerdfest.
Mini-Nerdfest.
You guys
Only
played,
at
you guys
Mini-Nerdfest.
played a big Nerdfest game. That was not
man.
allowed.
You should have told us we couldn't do it.
Yeah, I should have told you.
I think
It
the
was
biggest
big.
offender, though, in this game is the cube tower. Now, I love a cube tower. It works really well in Amerigo and Shogun and stuff like that. But here, it's kind of flimsy and doesn't really work that well. If the things you dropped into the tower were actual cubes, it would work so much better. But almost 100% of the time we played, every single Keshi dropped down to the bottom.
So there's like no point in even having.
It was like almost completely pointless. I've seen people say like, oh, turn the cardboard shelves upside down. That helps a little bit. No. Why weren't they just cubes? The entire thing could have just been cubes. They didn't have to be those keyflower cylinders.
Queen
They could have just been
Games
cubes.
has one fucking cutout for a cube tower, and they use the exact same thing, I'm
You're right.
assuming, which
For
when
everything.
you go
Amerigo
from
was queen.
cubes,
Shogun
when you
was
go
queen.
From cubes to heavier objects, the heavier objects are more likely to fall through that cube tower, and if you didn't make any adjustments to it, it's not going to change.
And they're cylinders, so they'll roll
so they're
off.
going to roll down the tower. The cubes might stick on
The
the
cubes
top.
will
Boom.
stick there.
So
And there's
change
no
your
reason.
cube
There's no
tower.
reason it needed to be cylinders. The game would have worked just as well if they used cubes instead of cylinders. Now the cube tower is almost pointless. Natalie, yes.
I have a question.
That's why I said Natalie, yes.
Why are Stefan Feld games published by different publishers?
Because he doesn't work for a publisher. He's just a designer in the world as a free agent. And then he goes to
Whoever,
a publisher's
gives them
like,
a
hey,
good
we want you to
deal
make
or
a game for
whatever.
us. Or he's like,
That's
hey, I got a
actually
game.
more common.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
That's usually what happens.
Sometimes I feel like we're living in a world where there's a lot more people that are tied to a publisher, or the publisher is the designer.
Yeah.
But it's
Okay,
just who wants to
so
buy the game and
it's just-
skin
Like,
it
say the
however they want.
Samurai that I'm designing got made by somebody. I wouldn't then be beholden to use that publisher for every game I make after that.
Yeah.
But
right?
you're right. There are
Yeah, I
like
get
Ryan
it.
Lockett, like always going to come out with like Red
Well, that's
Raven. is
because
him, right?
that's his company.
His company.
Right, or
Yeah.
like Stegmeyer.
Right.
Stonemeyer.
Stonemeyer is
yeah.
his Stonemeyer is Stegmeyer.
Yeah, Stegmeyer.
Stegmeyer. Overall, I think already after one play, this is in my top 5 favorite fells and will likely land
Holy
at
fuck.
number 2.
Behind
Burgundy.
Burgundy.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
I loved it.
Let me say it one more time. Holy fuck.
Fuck. I am very confident because I always think of whenever I'm playing, I'm like, when was follow Jeff like that? I think you will love. I honestly think you are going to love this game. I don't think it's going to replace Trajan or Burgundy for you. I don't know why that's funny, but I
It's
think
really
you are
funny
going
that
to.
you actually do that when we
I know.
play games. You'll be like,
So what? He's allowed to think of me.
he's like
I like
Jeff will
him.
not like this game. Jeff's gonna love this game.
He's allowed to think of me. I think of him
Funny
too.
that he
Okay.
likes, but he says it out loud like every
I like-
time
he
we
does.
play.
He does. He says it out loud. He does. And he said it this time. He was like, Jeff's going to fucking love this thing. I think he even said it to you. You came over to the table and he
Yeah.
was like, Jeff, you're going to like
Yep.
this. And you were
That's
like, yeah,
exactly-
Ryan? I am.
that's
Yeah,
exactly what
he
he
did. That's
said.
what he said. Natalie, what did you think about Marrakesh?
Okay, I also loved Marrakesh.
All right. Awesome. All right, Jeff, what did you think?
I'm gonna love it.
I think one of my favorite things about this game is that the rules are fairly simple, but there's like so many different things to do. Kind of reminds me of Hadrian's Wall in that way, where like the basics are pretty simple, but you just have to. There's a lot to
Yeah,
explain
what are you gonna
'cause
do
there's
now?
so much stuff.
Can I
And-
can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
This is rude. I'm interrupting. The setup and teach of that game took you guys over an hour.
That's why it needs an insert.
okay. So the insert would
Because
help.
it was all in little
Slash-
baggies, and we had to put together the BGG trays that Measles had. We had to open
fuck
every
that.
baggie. We had to pour
What did
them out.
the-
We had to do all that.
So Natalie, what did the teach take? How long was that? Was it 30 minutes? That's usually about.
I don't remember it being super long. Do you?
Okay. Because I felt like we were playing. I was like, God, they're not even.
Yeah, it took us a while to start. It
I
did.
want to say it was like
Like 30 and 30, 30 to 30
let's
to get
say
it set
was
up,
like
30 to teach.
3.5 to 4 hours total from setup to
Right.
the end of us playing. But I'd say setting up and teach was maybe an hour ish.
So maybe like 30 and 30. 30 to set it up, 30 to teach.
And we also
not bad.
weren't blistering through it. We were just kind of
Oh,
like,
right.
hey,
You
we were
were
having a good time.
yeah,
and
you were
just
doing the game.
fucking around.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Well,
what I
plus
love.
we did we did a thing where we did something like slightly wrong. It wasn't wrong, but like we like took turns individual. Like each of us have 3 turns in a round, right? And what you typically are supposed to do,
Really, 3 actions per turn.
yeah, sorry, 3 actions per turn, and you're supposed to do all 3 of your actions and then the next person does all their actions. But I do one, Ryan does one, you know, and then
halfway through, Kevin was like, "Uh-oh, I think
Kevin
I
was like, I don't think we're supposed to do that, and that would make it go faster if we weren't doing this." So I think
keep going.
Yeah, okay. So it gave me like, it reminds me of Hadrian's Wall in that way, and I like that it's not hard to understand. It's just there's so many things to do, and you have so many options, and you're just like, which one should I do? Should I do this? Should I do this? And that's really, really fun. I like that in games.
Did you have the thing that I talked about where like you're deciding what color keshi to put into the tower, and you're like, when do I go in turn order?
Yes.
Wasn't that such a great decision?
Like, I didn't get this at the beginning, but as the game went on, there was so many like little things like that where I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If I need to be more strategic about when and what keshis that I'm choosing this round based on my turn order, because like if there's one that I like really need and I'm going last, well,
you're probably not going to get it.
Say goodbye to that. I might as well save that for when I'm going first and I know I can get it. Or there's like these red ones where you can choose any of the actions. It's not tied to the color, you know, so you have to like save that for a certain time, maybe.
Yep.
Different things like that. And yeah. So like that stuff was fun, and discovering that you're like, oh, well, I see. Sorry, my contacts just got real blurry.
Your contacts got blurry?
Yeah.
Is that a thing that
like
can happen?
Moved, and then like my eyesight
I'm like, isn't it just
blurry.
a stationary object? The contact just got blurry.
Yeah, so like I just said, choosing which keshis to add to the round was like really fun and interesting. Having even like to pivot based on which keshis you end up with was cool. Because like you said, sometimes you'll put in the colors, those are the actions you have to do, but you don't always get those colors. And so like sometimes you have to like pivot, like, okay, I'm going to do this action, but you know, that color's not out there anymore. What should I do instead? You know, and then you kind of got to strategize about that. Like I could do this and it'll set me up this here and give me a point, or I could do this. And there's so many, what is there, like 12?
12 different colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, there's a lot of colors. I don't even know.
Maybe more
colors.
like 9 spots to go though, really. And
right, because 3 of them go for one
so there's
spot,
just like
and the reds
so
aren't
much
attached
to like
anything.
think about, but it's not necessarily difficult. It's more just like, what do I want to do? What's the best one? And that part, that's like a fun thinky way. You know, it's not like brain burning necessarily, where I'm just like, oh, how do I figure this out?
Brain
it's more
Bernie
just
Sanders.
like, ooh, which one?
God, you're gonna like this.
I want to
game.
play this.
It
You're gonna
was
like it so much.
It was
Ryan said I'd love it. I'm gonna love it.
it was even fun, like figuring
number
out
3
like
already.
the order
It might be.
the order to do things, because like sometimes like doing something gives you something else, you know, like a resource or whatever, and or even another keshi or whatever it is. And so it's even fun too, like, okay, this is what I ended up with, and so but I need this extra resource to like do more of this, so I'm going to do that one first and get that resource so that I can do this. And there's some like combination type stuff like that, which is always fun. Anyways, I loved it. You know, it was a little long, and that didn't even bother me, honestly, because I was just like really enjoying myself the entire time. I'd say the only con, the only
With Nerdfest.
the only bad thing to me is
That's who I played with.
I just think it's too much yellow. It's just really like yucky.
Thanks, Queen Games.
Yeah,
it's a Queen game problem.
He's right. It's because it's Queen
I'm not
games.
necessarily saying like the game board is like ugly or anything, but like the box for sure. And I don't know, yellow is just not an appealing color when there's a lot of it.
All these companies have come into the 21st century and made like or even more than that. They've made like, okay, we got to get with the times. Queen has been the exact same palette for as long as I've been in board.
Right,
games.
and it just
they
seems
just keep
outdated.
always
Well,
the
we got
same.
more Goop Towers.
Yeah. But I mean,
But say
I
we want about Queen, and I do. They deliver on Kickstarters real fucking fast.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
We're going to get Marrakesh
Soon.
next week, I think, even.
They're basically like, we've already made this game. Now
Yeah.
let's Kickstart.
Yeah,
They take
Kickstart it.
advantage of Kickstarter a
They
little bit,
do.
but they
I
deliver.
guess
fine,
that's
good
a
for us.
benefit for the So like that's obviously like a stupid nitpicky thing. I loved the game, and I was
Okay,
I wanna
well,
play
I'm
again.
going to ask you after one play,
Gotta do
where
it.
is it going to sit?
Where is it going to sit?
Where do
Natalie,
you-
while you're talking, I don't have a strong number 3, so my number 3 feld is up for
It's
grabs.
up for grabs? Ooh,
Oh,
I
Pretty
think
much
this
like
could do it.
Amerigo and Bonfire are sitting there.
It's not as heavy as Bonfire. It's probably
with that.
between, it might be about the same weight as Amerigo. The only thing that sucks, I really think the Cube Tower is No bueno. However, it's not going to ruin the play.
It's not.
Maybe the
It's just
essential edition
It's just kind of like, is it necessary?
I think it's the same fucking one.
Of course it is, because it's the same. They only have one.
I think I agree with Ryan. I think it would be like 2 or 3. Like, it's so good. Like, there's a lot of other Feld games that I really like, and I like
Trajan
this
your 2?
better.
Trajan's your 2.
I'd say, yeah.
Okay.
Because, like, I really like Carpe Diem. This is better than that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Carpe Diem.
For sure.
And
And where's my fucking Castles of Burgundy?
Did you get the update today?
30.
We might not get it till August now.
So here's my
What?
problem.
Really?
Let me look at it. So
Damn.
listen up, fuckers. Okay.
They got a sale over here.
Now
yeah.
I got this email
let
today
Jeff
that's
cook
like 57% of the shits have been shit, right?
Yeah.
They've been picked up.
Yeah.
The ships.
37% of them, or 36%, have been delivered to households. Why is every fucking Gamecaster listener
only the
have
Gamecasters
theirs
listeners.
except us?
I think Todd doesn't have his too.
36%
And measles.
of
Well, we
the
know measles,
entire
yeah.
fucking world that ordered it has it, and 100% of Gamecaster listeners haven't put on a fucking Discord.
Yeah.
And I don't have it at all.
I
Man,
know. Where's ours, man? It
Did
sucks.
Todd go all in too?
He must have. Yeah, I think it's us,
He's a
Todd, and
degenerate.
measles, and
He's a
that's
degenerate
it. Yeah,
like
he's a
us,
degenerate
yeah.
like
I thought
us.
measles
Yeah.
didn't go all in. Like
You're
you
right. He
guys.
didn't. He didn't get the
he's the biggest-
miniatures, I
he's
think,
the
and he
biggest
still doesn't have it.
screw job.
Well, we just got the email today was just like the last shipping container has been picked up from China.
Yeah.
Well, at
So
least
fucking
they've been
shit.
picked up.
At least it's on its
They're
way.
picked
Everything's on its way. Like it's
Right.
on its way.
Yeah,
I get shipping
don't
sucks.
get stuck in the
Please don't
Bermuda
say- please don't say.
Triangle.
Well, then there's like, is UPS going to go on strike here? In a
Fuck, we're not getting this fucking thing.
Is it
ever.
coming
Mother-
UPS?
Everything.
Maybe
comes
it's FedEx. Maybe it's DHL.
No, it's
Nah,
UPS
it's
because
UPS.
everyone's been getting theirs UPS. What else have you been playing, Jeff?
I haven't played games.
Yeah, let's talk about it. What have you been playing?
Okay, no, this game I like. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I had one unplayed game from last year's Gen Con.
No shit.
Till now.
You played them all?
I played them all.
You played them all.
Yeah.
We all play them all.
Once you play one, you play them all.
You play them all.
Yes, one that I did not play. I'm almost positive of that. And this, now it's off the list. I've played every game that I got at Gen Con last year, just in time for this year's Gen Con.
Out of all 3 games?
Holy shit.
Yeah, I only bought one. No. So this game is called Brazil Imperial.
Brazil.
And this was actually, I pre-ordered this game and picked it up at Gen Con because I was kind of like, there might be limited copies. I have the Portal Games version, and Portal Games isn't just like this massive production engine.
I'm so sorry. I have to stop you. There was something I wanted to tell you, and you're going to be like, because this is weird. This is really weird.
Okay.
I think
What?
Marrakesh is being reprinted by DeVere.
Like the Marrakesh that you just played?
Yeah, the one I just talked about. I think there was
There
a
is
thread on.
another Marrakesh there's like a different Marrakesh game.
No, I think it's this Marrakesh.
Why would they be doing that?
I don't know. Have you heard of the P500? There's this thing.
Been for
okay,
6100.
there's this thing. It's a list of games that GMT puts out that says, "Hey, if we get enough people interested, we're going to reprint these war games."
Okay.
All right. Sekigahara was on that list for a long time before it was finally reprinted. And I think if they get enough interest or something, or enough people like vote for it or something, it gets printed. DeVere, I think, has something similar to that, like the D500.
Okay. Yeah.
500 dicks. 500 dicks say. And I'm pretty sure, unless I'm dreaming or hallucinating with some fucking fever dream, I think Marrakesh is on DeVere's D500 and it's going to be printed by them.
God, I want to throw the Queen one. I want to throw the Queen games one away.
I
right
know.
now.
I don't understand if they're going to just completely change the components. Maybe they're just like, I know nothing about it other than that. And I just wanted to know if you had heard
I have
anything
not
about
heard
that
anything about
from
it. I
DeVere.
do know that there's another game called Marrakesh that's like a smaller, lighter.
Yeah, like an older
game or
one.
something.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this is that Marrakesh because I found it on the
so
Marrakesh
weird.
thread or page.
That's so weird.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, that's strange.
Yeah.
This game has a whole bunch of publishers, not DeVere. This game is called Brazil Imperial.
Brazil.
I have the Portal Games version. The other versions are pretty much the same. By this guy, the designer is Z Mendez. Z-E Mendez.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
He's a nobody.
Is he
Although-
from Brazil?
I believe so. Like
Gotta be.
Z Mendez, it seems like it.
Brazil.
This is basically his first. There's another game that he's published or designed that is not really a name. Brazil is by far his most popular game.
Okay.
Do you remember the cover of this? Is like
Yeah, of course. With the
beautiful.
it's very Brazilian.
Yes, and so he has a new game coming out soon called World Wonders that I'm really interested in now because I liked Brazil Imperial, spoiler
World
alert.
Wonder. Oh,
And
shit. Okay.
So I think World Wonders is either getting demoed or showing up at Gen Con this year. So that's one of the ones that's now jumped up my list because of what he did with
Is
this.
it another Sid game?
I feel like it's got to be.
Or a
I haven't done
4X
a ton
or
of
something?
research. I honestly was like scrolling through the list and I was like, oh, cool cover. And then I'm like, oh, Z Mendes is this. I'm going to put on my list after I played Brazil Imperial.
Okay.
So Brazil Imperial is a 4X game with a dash of Euro.
Doodash?
A do-dash of Euro. Natalie just ran somewhere to open something.
I still heard it.
I still heard
It's
it.
still
too.
on this
It's still
fucking
on there.
recording. Yeah.
Ka-cha.
Yep.
What do you mean? No, I heard it and I saw the microphone went up.
Oh, it did.
All right, Natalie, this is a 4X game. Do you
What do the
remember
X's stand for?
4 X's?
Extermination.
That's one.
Extinction.
Nope.
No. Extinction? That's a-
Extreme.
no.
Extreme. Extreme.
Maybe if you put your headphones on,
External.
you'll. No.
External.
All right, let's say you are
Think about what we're
Examine.
doing a game.
You are
Nope.
going on a map, okay? And you're going
Explore.
Okay,
Explore,
good.
that's one.
All right, you're on the map, and now you need to branch out further.
Yeah, you need to grow a little bit.
Expand.
Yes.
Yep.
And you already got exterminate.
And then there's stuff you do to the land. You know, this is the one.
Excavate.
Okay. Kind of.
Close.
Excavation.
Okay, let's say
a little more
let's say
negative.
Lexi's really pretty, right? My daughter Lexi. What if you were like, we should get her into modeling so we can
Exploit.
Yeah.
Explore, expand, exploit, exterminate.
I clearly
In that
didn't
order.
remember
Not really,
that.
but you don't have
4X.
Okay, so this is a 4X game. In Brazil Imperial, players are doing 4X type of shit. Constructing building, managing resources, exploring and expanding your land, creating trade routes, just building and utilizing a strong army, military, that kind of stuff, right? There is a modular board, which I love.
That is cool.
That can be arranged in a bunch of different patterns for player counts, for if you want increase in combat or decrease in combat. And the book kind of tells you this is how you set it up if you are playing with 4 people and you don't want to fight. This is how you set it up. You're playing with 3 people and want to try to stab each
so
other.
you can set it up for no combat?
You can set it up for a
Minimal
small
combat.
chance of combat. They call it chance of combat.
I see.
If you play with someone who's like, I'm gonna fuck you up, they're gonna find a way to get
Yeah.
there. They're probably gonna lose because that's not the nature of the game. But yeah, you can set it up where there's basically like a river that runs through it. So you're like, here's the
river runs through
here's
it.
the Amazon River, and now you can't it's harder to cross that path, which makes it then harder to invade other people's territory. So the modular board
Okay.
is really cool. There's on the forums, there's a bunch of player design, sort of like, hey, I've created this map, whatever. Very cool.
Okay.
On their turn, players have to pick an action, and then subsequent turns, you have to pick a different action. This is very Scythe-like. You have 7 actions, and you're taking this token, and you're moving it from spot to spot, and you can't keep it there.
Yep.
You do the actions.
Also sounds like Oros.
Yep. I haven't played Oris, but yes.
Yeah.
And this game has a very Sid Meier Civilization feel, like most Civ games do. As
Yeah,
I was teaching it to
inevitably
Bill in his own Bill way was like, oh, like Sid Meier. Ooh, he's kind of like, ooh, he's like Civilization. Ooh, like Civilization. And these actions are pretty much everything I kind of mentioned above. Like military, you're buying these paintings, which give you like cool power. Set collecting, there's a little bit of Euro there. Building on the land, producing goods, this manufacture action, which I absolutely loved. And I'll talk about it hopefully in the part that I liked, if I remember. Personal player boards, they give you bonuses when things are removed.
Oh,
So
it's
you love
dynamic.
something like that. That's pretty cool. And obviously more points when you take stuff off, things like that. Then after you get an action, you then get to move. And this is where the moving starts to, you explore land. If you move onto someone else's space, you start combat. And you want to do 4X stuff, right? You want to expand your empire. You want to take control of other people's land sometimes, because if you control that land, it produces resources, and then you get to use the resources that your empire or tiles that you control. So your empire, Ryan, you would like start and you'd like, this is your kingdom, and then
Yep.
as you start to expand your land, every tile that you're touching in your empire, whatever it produces, you get to just use as your resource.
Oh.
If I went over there and took control of one of those tiles, you get to use everything in your empire except that one. I get to use
that's
that
mean.
one and then everything there. So that's maybe why you'd want to do combat. You don't lose a ton. It's not overly punishing. So that was really good. And the way that this game sort of progresses, and it actually moves at a quicker rate than you'd think for a 4X game. Everybody starts with 3 goal cards, and it's each era. So it's like era 1, era 2, era 3 goal cards. The moment someone completes era 1, you move into era 2. And all that does is change. You get a little bonus for action. It just changes your action token. And you keep going. And someone completes era 2, you move on to era 3. And as soon as someone completes an era 3 card, it's over. So that someone could be anybody.
Oh.
I don't have to complete 1, 2, and 3 for the game to be over. I could have completed just the third one in the third era and been
it
done,
ends.
right? I can't complete the third one in the first era and end it, right? So as soon as the first, second, and third of any of the era cards are done, the game ends.
What's the length of this game like? 4X games are typically really long.
I was shocked at how quickly we got through this game. We played with 3 people, and we played it in under 2 hours.
Shut your ass.
And I thought that it gave a very good 4X feel in under 2 hours.
Wow.
It doesn't have that massive, like, at the end of a Sid Meier Civ game, it looks fucking
you've
massive,
just like spent
right?
building your load.
And they're a square board. These are hexes. They've really evolved. But you don't get that giant feel, but you're also not playing the game for 4 fucking hours.
True.
Like you are in a lot of these 4X games. But I wasn't even ready to play another game on my game night because I was like, all right, we're gonna start at 7. I'm gonna teach it till 7:30. We're playing until 10 easy, and then night's over. And we were done, and I looked. I was like, okay, it's like 9:15. I'm like, what do we play now?
Wow.
So I loved how good this made me feel and gave me that 4X feel in 2 hours. I was pleasantly surprised. I was very happy with Brazil Imperial.
Brazil.
Is this my favorite 4X game? Maybe. Because it's a 4X game that I can play on a game night.
What other 4X games have you played?
Well, there's like the big ones, right? I've played the Sid Meier Civilization. I've played Scythe.
Oh, that's 4X?
Sort of.
Yeah, it's sort of ish. But when you play like, is it Eclipse or you play Twilight Imperium?
Yep.
That is a totally
Space Empires
different
4X.
feel. That's going to be a different feel, I think.
Are they less Euro-y? Or is this not Euro-y?
Yeah, they're a little less Euro-y because there's not maybe with the player boards
You're
and the set
fighting a
collecting,
lot.
you're doing a lot
in
more
a lot of
fighting.
those, and
And it has this like more military strategic feel than this. But I can play this in 2 hours, get a little bit of the Euro itch and the resource management, the player boards, the set collecting with these paintings that give me whatever my era cards tell me exactly what I need to do, which none of them are combat oriented. So you don't have to fight someone to complete your goals. There's like straight objectives on there.
That
So
I
if you
like.
don't know what to do what's on your card. Collect these things, expand, build these territories, and you can complete your goal. And I like that there's a little bit of a race element because the 4X games, there's not a ton of you don't want to race to the end. In bigger 4X games, you want to build an empire and then crush everyone. In this
That takes
one,
time.
there's a race to it, and I liked that because I wanted to play it in a game night.
Yeah.
If this would have went on for 3 hours, it would have been like, oh man, like all right, it's a 4X game. It was good, but I'm never going to play it
too much.
again.
It's just not going to
I
come
can
out.
play this whenever the fuck I want, and it's great. So I
That's
love the
really cool.
I love the module maps. I think this is a game that you would like.
Really?
I think you'd like it way better than you liked Scythe.
Okay.
I like it way better than I liked.
You played Twilight Imperium before.
Sure. And Eclipse.
You might not like
okay.
it more than those because it's going to give you a really different.
I didn't like Twilight
I was gonna say, I
Imperium,
didn't
to be
think you
honest.
cared
I
for 'em that much.
love Eclipse.
And I don't know if
but
that's
Eclipse
gonna-
suffers from this is going to take 6 hours to fucking play.
Right.
yeah.
It's a different feel, right? The different layouts, the modular boards were great. And I like if the 2 of you end up playing this or the 3 of us, we can literally pick a map that's like, let's just build our own empire and just kind of see how that
Yeah,
goes.
that sounds really
and
cool.
you can explore and go on to other places and you can like move your military around and not fight if you don't want to.
Yeah, just the threat.
Yeah, just
of
the
being
threat is
around.
kind of there. Or you can make a map where everybody starts kind of close and you sort of battle it out. So really you can pick how you want to play the game based on who you're playing with. The dynamic player board I really liked. I liked getting the bonuses. There's this manufacture action that I really liked. So you take this action, you pay some resources, and you remove a cube from your board and you place it underneath your action, one of your 7 actions, and it then gives you something cool when you take the action.
Ooh, like a little bonus.
It's like a bonus every time. So the weight of like, okay, I want to manufacture this item, I put it here, or I can put that there and it gives me this. What's my next 4 or 5 turns or 3 turns going to look like? I loved that. Overall, I was really, really impressed with Brazil Imperial. I didn't have super high expectations because I don't normally go to 4X games. In my head, I was like, this is going to take a long time.
Right, I'm never going to want to play
Combat
it
is
again.
always fiddly sometimes. Let me grab the rule book. How does combat work? And there was no dice roll. There wasn't any of that. It gave me a good amount of Euro feel, which I always jones
Yeah, you
for
look
in
for that.
games. In a 4X game, in a good time frame. And It's very, very good.
What did the group think?
I think everybody liked it. Joe liked it kind of right away. Bill seemed to write up a good feeling. He liked that he could play this in a game night because he liked he liked Civilization. He liked Sid Meier's a lot.
Love that game.
But we can't play that on Monday.
Sure.
So I think if we're looking at downsides, everybody gets their own like personal player board. You're like your own emperor, empress thing. So you get your own cool power. I love that. So for me, does it have the replayability? Yes. Because if I play the game 10 times, shocking. Right.
Right.
For someone who's going to play the game maybe 10 plus times, is there enough? Do you feel like you might be doing the same thing over and over again? Because there's not like the Sid Meier tech tree where you're sort of building
differently every time.
Or differently every time. You might find a similar structure every time you play this game. For me, I don't think I'm going to find that because I'm not going to play the game enough to have that there.
Right. You'll play it, once every 6 months maybe?
Yeah, and then we'll rotate our powers, which will change it. But I think at some point you might find a cadence to the game where you're like, all right, I build, I have it, I'm done. But maybe there's expansions and maybe there's things. So that would be what I would say might be a downfall at some point. I really enjoyed it. That's Brazil Imperial.
Brazil. Well, I first heard about this next game from Mr. Measles at Origins. He was telling me about it, and I was immediately intrigued. It was called Mission Control Critical Orbit, and was a cooperative, real-time roll and write game where players are each playing their own little minigame. Yep, I wanted to buy it, so I did what I always do, and instantly forgot about it until I saw Joe Jitsu had it at Donkey Kong's house, was playing with Party, and Measles and McDave Mick. I was like, OMG, yes, I need to go to the booth and buy that a month ago.
Yeah.
I was really happy Joe had it, so I got to play it twice, and here's how it goes.
I want to play it.
In Michigan Troll, players are working together in for Michigan Troll. Did Joe actually say it was Michigan Troll, or did he say Mission Control and I heard Michigan Troll? I feel like Joe said
Ryan's
Michigan
saying
Troll.
two things. Ryan's saying Michigan Troll.
Yeah.
And Mission Control. Just
I don't know if I heard Joe say, like, when he was like, we're going to play Michigan Troll. I'm like, did he say Mission Control or Michigan Troll?
That's like that thing where you just say it and then whatever you think you heard.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were saying it at first, I was like, are you saying two different things?
Michigan Troll.
I really think he said Michigan Troll. I'm gonna say that, Joe, that's what you said. If you didn't say that, reach out to me and be like, no, you just heard that. That was you hearing that.
Said no, he didn't say
he didn't. No, I'm pretty sure he did. In Michigan Troll, players are working together in 20 minutes, exactly, to try to get this rocket working that if it doesn't, will blow everyone up in real life, killing millions. Oh my God. All the players are feeding information to the flight commander that they need to fix the rocket. And they're done by way of these little tiny mini games, which was perfect for mini-nerdfest. The commander player is rolling 3 dice, and as a group, the rest of us in Mission Control have to pick 2 of them to use on our personal player boards. One board is a polyomino puzzle, another is a Sudoku puzzle, and another is like this mathy puzzle. The commander person just plays a little tuberance puzzle, and Natalie, I want you to talk about a little more what they do, because I didn't actually get to see that, because Natalie did.
Natalie did the tuberance puzzle?
Yes. So Joe was like, do you want to like be the one person? And she was like, yeah, okay. And then so I'm like, ooh, I get to do the polyominoes. He's like, look at the backside of the polyominoes that you're going to give to Natalie. And I was like, uh-oh. And he's like, what? And I'm like, this is tuberance, Natalie. Yeah, they're tubes. So Natalie, what does the one player do on their board?
Yeah. Okay, so their goal is they have to have these little polyomino tiles on their grid, and they put them in such a way where it connects two different. Okay, so how do I say this?
We'll be right back.
You're basically connecting from like one spot to another spot with a continuous pipe.
Yeah,
but there has to be 8 of these little like icons total, but you don't have to have like all 8 in one pipeline, because there are 3 different color like wood things.
3 different color wood.
I don't know.
I'm on the spot.
Like I'm on the spot. Like wood. I didn't expect to explain this.
Sorry.
There's like these like wood things that you like put in like a dual layer player board like spot. You know.
Okay, wood things.
They're like Keshis, but they're like triple the length.
Okay.
Kind of like that. Okay,
Sure.
so there's 3 different colors, so like green, yellow, and blue or whatever. I don't know.
Sure.
And they're on like there's like 3 different sides of the boards, and so they're in like various spots, and so like you have to connect like same color to same color, like the green to the green or the blue to the blue.
Like making like a connection.
A connection with the pipes, with the polyomino pieces. And you can have all 8 of the things of the icons like from like one pipeline or like all 3 of them or 2 of them.
So you're getting the polyomino tiles from the minigame player who's playing them out.
Polyomino tiles. You're getting these cards, which basically unlocks those wooden things I'm talking about. And unlocking those basically means that you can move them around. So like they're stuck when they're locked in the spot that they started. So if you're like making, a path and you're like, it's working out for it to start here, but I'm down here in this other spot. When it's unlocked, you can move it up there as long as it's on the same side of the board. So somebody's giving you cards, somebody's giving you the polyomino tiles, and then someone else is giving you these valves, because sometimes when you're making a path, there's a valve on there, and you can only complete it if the valve is open, which you have to like basically place the valve on that spot when you get them, and they have to be the right color.
Okay.
So that's what you're doing, and you're collecting things from all the people, and you're also rolling the 3 dice, which has the numbers that everyone else is using to do their little mini game.
Do you do any? So there's 3 dice that you roll, and then 2 dice get used by all of us players. Do you do anything with that 3rd die?
Yeah, the 3rd dice. There's 2 tracks, and if depending on the number of the dice, you move down the track, and that'll unlock like a little special action, or if you get all the way to the end, it gives you an extra valve.
Got it. So this game was really fun. I really enjoyed the feeling of being under the gun as we're trying to make the best decisions quickly with the dice that are rolled. You have to quickly work together with the other players to figure out who needs what number, and you have to constantly be checking in with the commander to see what even they need from you and figure out if you can make it happen with the dice that are rolled. And then you have to communicate together to let each other know that you're ready to move on and roll the dice again. And very often, someone will forget. And so we're just sitting there thinking that they're trying to think, when really everyone's just sitting there like, okay, who's doing this? Because you're supposed to like, how like sometimes Jeff, when
it's my turn.
We'll put your thumb up to be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
In this game, you actually have to say whatever thing you're doing. So for instance, the polyomino puzzle is Houston. And so when I'm done taking my action, because we're all doing it simultaneously when the dice are rolled, I have to like say Houston locked. And that is everyone else's clue to mean, okay, I'm done.
I'm ready, yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to move to get the dice rolled again to do more of this. And so a lot of times we'll just all be sitting there, and we're just like, okay, who's going?
And someone's like, Houston locked.
This whole time,
locked.
the stuff is ticking down. They're like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I'm ready. And that part was really, really fun. The components weren't anything to write home about. They were fine. Nothing good or bad to really note there. You're not going to feel gypped, but also you're not going to feel like you have this ultra premium product. If I had to say something I didn't like, I think the one thing I felt like I didn't really like about it was much too easy. We played it twice and very easily succeeded both times. I'm not sure if we played on normal mode or easy mode or something, but I can see that the way to make it harder is to just decrease the amount of time you have. If it was 15 minutes, it would have been a struggle. But 20 minutes was almost as if time was not a factor. It kind of was, because in our heads, we're like, we know we have only a certain amount of time, so we got to go quick. But then we finished, and it was like, you had 6 minutes left. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, should we really have 25% of the time, more than 25% of the time left on our very first play ever?
But we were talking about, too, like maybe cut off 5 minutes, and that makes it
that would make it like, oh tighter. Shit. Yeah. Also, I can see the game getting a bit stale after a few plays. I played the polyomino roll both times, and I would definitely want to try another roll, as unless there are more rolls than just the 3, it wouldn't probably be super interesting after the 8th or so play, which for a heavy strategy game is not so bad. But this one you're going to go through in 20 minutes or less, so you kind of want a bit more to be there. Mm-hmm. Last thing is, I really don't think this would be fun with less than 4, which also I think is the max people it plays. The game just would not feel as interesting to me if there was only 3, and especially I would not want to play this with 2. Overall, I really enjoyed my 2 plays of Michigan Troll, Critical Orbit, and while I don't think I'll seek this out to buy it, I would happily play it anytime it showed up at a game night. I really did enjoy myself. I walked away from it like, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I don't think I need to buy it, because it would probably we'd play it right away at the beginning and then never again.
Yeah.
What do you think, Natalie?
I had a lot of very similar thoughts. I like those hectic, frantic, timed games. And I do like that there are different roles to play, so you can try something new. I played the one that we just talked about. And then I also played one of the other roles, the one that
The
gives you
mathy
the
one.
cards. Yeah, it was like a mathy one. And like one thing that kind of like stood out, and I was like, part of me liked it and part of me didn't. I guess you got to be in like the right mindset. Was like in both roles that I played, there was things that I was like rushing, so I was kind of like felt a little overwhelmed, and so there was things that I was like trying to work through to like prepare myself to know what I needed, but I didn't have enough time to fully think that through because you're just trying to move on to the next one, and so it was kind of like stressing me out a little bit, in maybe not a good way. Like it wasn't bad. Like I did not have a good time. I did enjoy playing it, but in a lot of timed games, I get stressed out in like a fun way, and this was more just like oh fuck, kind of way. Like when I was playing the one player, I'm the polyomino pieces that you have, they're not stuck. Like when you place them, you can like rearrange them and move them around anytime you want. And so I was trying to like figure out a good way, a path, and then you would say like, what piece do you need? And I'm like, I don't know,
Yep.
because like in like literally 1 second later, I got to re-roll the die and then like do some other things while you guys are doing some other things. And I'm like, and then same with the, with the other role that I played, there was some math to it. And I was trying to like get ahead where I was like, okay, I had all these numbers filled in and I need to know what numbers I need for when they roll the die. I can be like, I need a 4, I need a 5, but I'm like, I don't know what I have because I don't have time to do the math in my head before the dice gets rolled and then the numbers are picked and I'm like, and
What do I do?
that stuff was like, that was pretty stressful, but it was fun, but I don't see that being fun all the time.
Yeah.
And I agree with you about, I see it getting stale, or I see, you could be like, I'm tired, I'm not into playing that game right now, or whatever. But I also agree that if we were at like Nerdfest and somebody pulled that out, I'd be like, yeah, that's fun, I'll play that. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we need to buy it, but that was a fun new game that I'd never heard of.
So if there's a game, if you have a game that you want to not own, but you want someone else to own, maybe consider Mission Control.
Yeah, I'm assuming that I'll be playing this game fairly soon. My guess is on the next game night, Joe will pick something, we'll play it, and then that'll be our game ending.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah,
I'll ask
it's
him a couple
short.
questions about like what ramps the game up.
Yeah, there might be more roles
yeah.
that I don't know about. I looked
Yeah, I
a
don't
little
know.
bit briefly on the BGG page, and I didn't see anything like that.
Okay.
It looked like there was only 3 roles. I could be wrong about that. There might be more. I don't think there is because I feel like he would have offered them to us, or he would have told that to us.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an
I think
expansion
you're
coming
right.
out that's going to have more
Because we
roles.
played it
that
more
would
than
be
once,
cool.
so he probably would have like switched them up.
Yeah,
It
so
took a long time to get like delivered. I think he ordered it like a year ago, and then they had some
shit.
at Origins, and
Yeah, so we just got it.
yeah. Well, no, he got it the week he came back from Origins.
Oh, that's funny.
They were
So he didn't
selling
have it at
Origins, and they were
Origins.
like, "No, sorry, it's in the mail. Like it's
Right,
on the way."
you're
kind
getting
of
it.
thing.
Yeah, cool. What else you got, Jeff?
Another game that Sam and I actually got to play along with John Klinsky and Joe was we played Red Cathedral, and we added in the Contractors expansion.
Right, you haven't played that yet, right?
I have not. This was the first play of the Contractors, and I was excited to play it because I love Red
Yeah.
Cathedral. So what this game adds, so I'm not going to go through what Red Cathedral is like because you can listen to any other episode we've talked about.
Yeah, we talked about it last episode.
So this game is fresh in both of your minds because you played it more
Yep.
recently too. So I'm going to tell you kind of what it adds. It adds a new die.
Okay.
So now there are six
Yeah.
dice.
Okay.
This one is black, and it works the exact same way. It just adds another opportunity for you not to get the number that you want, right? So,
Oh, okay.
but it does.
There's
Maybe
more
it brings it down a little bit.
Oh, that
for-
seems like it would help.
It has
Yeah,
to help, right?
has
It can't
to.
make it worse. Right.
I see.
So it also adds a contractor's board, which slides on the bottom of your player board, which is actually kind of cool. So the player board that you have is kind of thick. Okay. So they added almost like there's like a back. It slides under your player board, and then it doesn't click onto the bottom, but it slides right tight to the
It
bottom
lines
where
up,
it's not
does it?
like it almost feels like one piece instead of 2 separate pieces.
That's cool.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's a good make there. And on that board is basically just it holds your contractors, which are new little meeples. And each tower that you're building is now given a matching city tile that correlates with a map board. So there's like a small board, it has a map on it. In the middle it says Moscow, and there's a bunch of like surrounding cities. And each of the towers that you're building has a name attached to it, which then correlates with one of the cities on the map. That makes a little bit of sense?
Yeah.
And on your turn, instead of the normal 3 things that you do, like deliver, take a die, or whatever the other one is, you can send a builder to the map, which is basically saying this builder is going to help build this tower.
Cool.
Right?
Okay.
And at the end, when you finish a tower, however many workers or builders you have in that area, you're going to get that times the number of sections that you've helped build. So in points. It's another way to get a few points during the game, and another way to either, I would say, delay taking a die because like, oh, these aren't I don't need these numbers. Let me do something else. So you put a worker out there. There's also, that's the way that you get the tiles to attribute to the black dice, because you know how you can, when you claim a card, you get to put the tile on the yellow dice. And now when I do the yellow dice, I get this bonus. The bonus comes on the black dice comes from the map. So it pushes you to the map a little bit if you want the bonus for the black die.
Okay.
And that's kind of it. There's new cards for the rondelle. There's other like modules you can turn on and off.
And did you not use any other ones?
We just used that one, and we added in like the crystals, which the crystals are like a wild resource, and one of the, I think they're called guilds or whatever. I don't know, the cards that go on the side of each of the sections. One of them allowed us to buy, you can spend $1 and get a diamond, which could be anything you want it to be. So we'll get another way, to Ryan's point of like, all right, I can try to get a resource this way, because that diamond could count as a gem, a wood, whatever you wanted it to. So if you were in a pinch, you could grab a diamond. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Did you enjoy it? Do you think you'll always play with it?
I don't know if I'll always. So I might always play with it, but I don't know that it's essential to making the game that much better.
Gotcha.
So I left feeling the same as I felt about Red Cathedral.
You enjoyed it just as
yeah,
much
but not like,
oh
this
wow,
is fucking it.
this needs
like we played the Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yeah.
And we played with the Leaders expansion or whatever that's called, where everybody gets their own asymmetrical power and deck of cards. And I'm like, this is the fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. I'm never playing without this. I played Red Cathedral, and I was like, that felt like Red Cathedral with tiny little worker dudes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if going to that map is the meaty, bulbousy decision that Ryan was looking for to meeten the game up.
Yeah.
So you might not be like, I don't know if you're going to feel any differently about it.
Sure.
I think the dice might alleviate your frustration with the rondelle, which I think was maybe a bigger frustration than the meatiness.
That was the biggest
than the
frustration,
bulbousy thing.
Yep.
But I don't think it's like essential. It didn't make my decisions a lot tougher or a lot more to think about. It just gave me a instead of delivering, to pause the rondelle movement. Because really, when I could get what I wanted to on the rondelle, you take it. Because when it comes to your turn and you can get what you want on the rondelle, you do it right then.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. You want to get your stuff because that's the game you're playing. And then sometimes you go, let me do something else while maybe the dice change a little bit.
Right.
This gave you one more option to do that, but I didn't feel like
that is cool.
It was a tough decision.
Sure.
If that makes some sense.
It does.
So
totally.
I'll play with the contractors thing. I'll add them in. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just add the new cards in every once in a while. So it's something that I feel like I'll sub in and out. I think Devin might actually like this game, so maybe I'll try with two at some point. She's never played it with me. But yeah, so that's the contractors. I could take it or leave it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's not what I expected.
I know. I was expecting.
Were you a little let down?
A little bit, because it's like I'm let down with the expansion, but I still played the game, and I'm like, this is
still great.
I still love the game.
Because you love Red Cathedral.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't
I'm curious
worsen it.
Right. I'm curious if they're going to keep expanding the game, because the game's doing DeVere pretty well. Like they're doing well. So I'm like, is there something else? Is this big box going to have something more plus? I don't know, who knows? But yeah, that's the contractors.
Awesome.
If you're looking to support the show, maybe consider flushing your money down the Gamecasters toilet by way of our Patreon page. There are 4 different tiers which will get you access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content, or content ahead of time. You will also get swag that nobody else has access to, and just the opportunity to help out and support a podcast which you sometimes listen to. We have amazing patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. If you'd like to donate to help us pay for things like hosting fees and that blank that Jeff's had his eye on, please head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters to help out. The Gateway Network is now defunct, but our merchandise isn't. If you're looking to get some great Gamecasters or Mad Board Gamer gear, head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store and you'll find that there. We have also partnered up with Tim of Sir Meeple, who is creating custom Gamecasters designs for us, so you can go to sirmeeple.com, click the pull down under creators and find us there under Board Game Podcasts. More stuff will be added frequently, and what a great way to support two creators at the same time. A dream for most of us, am I right, Natalie? So once again, that's sirmeeple.com. You click the pull down under creators and find us under Board Game Podcasts. Possibly the best way to interact with all of us, though, is via our Discord server. If you go to the Gamecasters Instagram page, you can check out our link tree in our bio to get access to our server. It's a great way to engage with all three of us on a daily basis, as well as meet a bunch of like-minded, awesome people. So check out our Discord server. Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's Nook.
Today on Natalie's Nook, I was struggling. To come up with a Nook topic for this episode, and I was thinking, why is that?
Okay.
Why?
Why?
Besides the fact that
Because we've done it 110
Yeah,
times.
I know, right? I feel like I've done all
Fuck.
the main things that somebody would think of, and now I got to think outside the box. And I was thinking, and I was like, why can't I think of something? And besides the fact that I'm not quite as obsessed with games as I used to be, I realized that I might have a harder time coming up with new discussion topics because I'm just not that into the board game world.
Whoa.
And what I mean by that is that I love playing games and I love doing the podcast and I love hanging out with and meeting our community. But as a whole, I'm not up on new releases.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know who publishes what. I don't know board game
welcome to
news.
the last episode of the Gamecasters Podcast, where Ryan and Natalie don't give a fuck about board games
You're gonna have to.
anymore.
You're gonna have to
Just
carry this.
Natalie.
You're gonna have to carry
That's
this. We'll just sit in the back and make jokes.
Or
Cool,
who,
yeah,
so, or like even who the popular content creators are. Sometimes Ryan will be like,
It's us.
You know this person? And I'm like, no.
What? Who?
And that's
Jeff.
what I mean. Like, and I was trying to like figure out why that is. And it got me thinking too, that there are so many different levels of this hobby. I'm almost like, I didn't really have like time to like think this through, but like, I almost feel like somebody should come up with like different types of gamers and like with like how much you're into it and what different path that you go on with like all these things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe part of it, I was even thinking like, why am I not into this board game world? Like, like I think of so many people like you guys and even like Amanda, Main Street Meeple and everybody that we talk to, Shelly and everybody always seems to be excited about this game coming out. And I'm like, I don't know any games
anything
that come out unless Ryan tells me about it, or like, or they're like, did you hear about this publisher? Or did you hear about this thing going on? And I only hear about it from Ryan. And like, so I don't know if part of it's I'm spoiled that I just get to like learn all this information with very minimal effort from you. I didn't really think that was it. Maybe part of it's that I don't really have that same itch to find the next great game like I know Ryan does. Like he's always like, oh, I'm going to look and, I just can't wait to find the next like hit. I don't really have that. I just, if we happen to play a game I like, then I want to keep playing that game. And I'm also happy to learn a new game, but I'm not like
obsessed
searching for that.
You've never been that.
Right. And I'm also not a big social media person, so I'm not just like consuming tons of board game content.
Right.
I'm even less of a YouTube person. I've really only watched like how to play video here and there if I happen to be learning,
And you're non-existent on Board Game Geek, as evidenced by not joining our guild.
I know.
Yeah, or not even voting for us for best podcast on BoardGameGeek.com.
The reason why I didn't get voted.
Thank you.
So basically, I'm not really sure the reasoning. I just know that I like playing games, and that's all I really, that's the main thing that I care about in this hobby. And and when I thought about it more, I think potentially it's more of just my personality. Like Ryan has sort of
Natalie.
my personality. Ryan has
Designer can
sort
be
of-
designer.
Yeah, personality. Yeah.
You have sort of like an obsessive personality.
Thanks.
Personality.
Meaning,
my personality.
when you
Natalie
are
is very
into
obsessive.
something, you are like consumed by it.
Yeah.
You're just obsessive
Good or
about
bad.
it.
I obsess good or badly.
Right. And that's not me. It has never really been my thing. And this is kind of like game related. You know how when I play games and I have I have trouble focusing on one thing because I just want to do it all? Mm-hmm. That's how I am in life.
Right, with sex partners.
No.
Well, Natalie does everyone except me in high school. So.
And measles. And measles.
God, you were ripping on measles. What was that all about?
Oh my gosh.
You couldn't even just be quiet.
You would understand.
It wasn't actually. It wasn't actually.
It wasn't measles. You were just talking about a gross subject.
It was really funny because it happened at the exact time. He got oohed.
Anyways, so that's how I am in life. And I know there are people out there like me, kind of like I struggle to focus on one thing. I just like, I have like a lot of different hobbies and a lot of different things I want to do. And I'm not just like, I don't get obsessive about one thing ever. I'm just like, I want to do all the things, and I'm just like kind of have a little bit in each of them.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Dip your
Yeah.
toes
Do you have
in.
more? You have more to go on.
No, not really. I kind of just wanted to talk about like,
Our
I don't know.
personalities.
Yeah, our personalities. What's our personality?
Remember earlier in the episode when I said like this could be part of the Nook, like things like that, where like you're like when I find a game that I like, I immediately like afterwards go on Board Game Geek and research it and look up everything I can about it. Like I've literally never done that.
That's like
Okay,
maybe the
and
most
why do you
fun
think
thing to do.
why do you think that you guys do that?
Yeah.
And I don't. Is it a personality thing? Is it something different?
Personality.
Personality.
Let me
I
ask
don't
you
know.
a question.
What do you think?
What do you think? So, if you have 1,000 hobbies, I would say you have no hobbies. Okay, that's what I would say. But what are you the most obsessed with? So, if Ryan is most obsessed with board games, is that true?
Probably. Yeah, board games. I like smoking the meats too. I like playing the music. Yeah, board games is my
if
most
that's-
obsessive hobby.
What is your most obsessed? And it doesn't have to be to Ryan's level.
Yeah.
It just is what is the
Nothing
thing
I
you are
do is to
most
his
obsessed.
level.
So what is something where you go, oh, this is coming out, or hey, did you hear about X? Like, what's the thing that consumes you the most? It might not be to the level, but what is that thing?
Sex.
Sex with
Well,
Ryan.
I mean, I don't really
texting
have
Jeff
anything
about
where
it.
it's like this is coming out kind of thing. It's more just like what am I like really excited to do, and I'll do it every chance I get.
That's what I'm asking you. That's the question.
Okay, I mean, really, honestly, I'd say board games. I'd say golf. I'd say, kayaking,
Do you research
that kind of stuff.
golf and kayaking or
Nothing. I research nothing.
Yeah, she only finds joy in the doing.
I like
the
doing
doing.
it. I don't like the work part.
And that's the interesting part as you were talking about this Nook. That's the interesting part that I'm really interested to explore is because you mentioned the levels.
Yeah.
You must be at level 1.
No, I don't think so.
No,
Because I wrote
listen,
down
you're a
few
fucking
things.
nerd. You're on a board game podcast.
Right.
No,
yeah.
what I mean by that
I think
is
there's like level 0, which we call nons, right?
Nah.
okay,
Then there's
sure.
people
Okay.
who like maybe like just play games with friends to socialize because at a party or it's fun.
Oh, you've thought this out. Okay.
Yeah, I've thought this out a
keep
little
going.
bit. But
That's one.
Then there's maybe people in the hobby just for games. That's me. So I'm level like 2 or 3.
Okay.
What does this go
Right.
up to? Level 87.
There's 9,000
87
levels.
I didn't
is-
think this fully through. I just wrote down some like
That's
thoughts.
cool. No, I wanna
Then
let you
there's
cook.
like, then you add, then there's like kind of like offshoots, right? Like everybody who's in the hobby is like in it for the games, obviously.
It's like a
then,
tree.
But then
And then
there's
at the
like these
base of the tree-
offshoots, right? And there's somebody who's like, I can't wait to find the next great game. And they're always looking for the new hotness. Or there's somebody who's like, playing games is literally all I ever want to do. I'll do it every chance I get. Somebody is like, I can't stop consuming all things board games, videos, podcasts, social media, whatever. Then there's somebody who's like, I'm going to go to as many conventions as I possibly can because those are my people. And then there's somebody who's like, how do I make this my job? I want to get paid doing this. That's how passionate I am about it. Or maybe like, I have so many ideas. I want to be a board game creator. Like there's all these different like offshoots.
Yes. This is very interesting. This is very
Natalie, would you want to make any of your hobbies, like you just said, a profession? Like let's not say you're a professional golfer, right? Let's just say
Yeah.
like you want to work at like
REI.
there you go. You want to work at the the Farmington Golf Club and be a pro or a trainer?
No. If there was something
Like,
that
is your
I would
biggest passion accounting? Like doing, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like stupid saying this, but I feel like I don't have something that's like my passion.
Okay.
Yeah, like one thing.
That's not stupid.
right.
Yeah.
You
I
have
just want to get to
several
the bottom
hobbies.
of your
I have several
you
personality.
seem
hobbies.
to
Even
like them all.
Like right now, like I'm painting Cameron's bedroom. I really enjoy that.
And I wasn't trying
She
to say
loves
earlier that
painting.
you have 1,000 hobbies. That means you don't have a hobby.
Yeah.
You don't have 1,000. You have things that you like doing all the time.
No, she
Yeah.
definitely has a multitude of hobbies that
But like,
I feel like I could just spin the roulette board of Natalie's hobbies, and wherever it landed, she'd be like, sure.
To be equally as happy.
But
Yeah.
for me, if she spun that same thing, I'd be like, I'm not in the mood for that today.
Yes,
No, I don't want to
yeah.
do that right now.
That's
Where
like-
she's
yes.
like, what do you want to do? You want to paint miniatures? I don't know.
Yeah.
Want to play a board game? No,
I was
not
just
really. Want to
talking-
watch TV?
I was just talking to
you know what I mean? She
Mick
would do
Dave-
anything.
I was just talking to Mick Dave Mick about this, where I have this problem where I have when I'm sitting there and I'm working, right, and I'm like, oh, all I want to do is like be done working because there's like a million things I want to do and never have any time to do all the things that I want to do, and I just want to be done working. So I have a free night tonight. Tonight's the night I'm going to do one of those things, and then
you watch TV.
Yep.
and then the night comes, and then I get
Sassy
so
from Ted Lasso.
overwhelmed. I'm like, which one should I do?
make a
I don't know
decision.
which one to do.
Yeah.
And then now it's 9:00, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't do any of them.
Yep.
And I feel like I wasted the night because I was like paralyzed
IRL
making the
analysis
decision
paralysis.
because I want to do them all equally. And
Can I talk a little bit about
yes, please.
about your hemorrhoids? You said yes, please. She said yes,
yeah,
please.
she did.
All right. So I was inside Natalie's anus the other day.
Why don't you talk?
I noticed some.
Why don't you guys
my
talk, you
God.
fucking nerds?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not obsessed with a
noticed
stupid
some
fucking
shit.
hobby like the two of you guys. So why don't you talk about it?
Yeah. So I really like what you were talking about with levels. And the first person I thought of when you said this was Nestor. And Nestor is somebody who loves board games, but he always talks about he really only loves board games up to a certain weight.
Yes.
He likes the light stuff.
Anything above Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah,
That's his limit.
he's like, nah, that's about. I'm done
Yeah.
with that. Castle of Burgundy might be the height of
That's
his
his peak.
weight
Yeah.
level, and that's really interesting to me. And I don't know Nestor enough to know what other things he does, but for me, and I don't want to speak for Jeff, but I'm going to speak for Jeff.
Yeah, do it.
I think we love this hobby, and when playing the games, we play the games, we're like, oh, this is great, and it's like now I want to experience going here and finding the games, and it's like you get. There's a lot of joy to be had, not just in I want to find one, but in the researching. There's joy there. There's a lot of joy in learning and knowing and being the one to be up on it. And that's really fun. And then there's like a whole other thing over here where it's like, I want to talk about them into a microphone so people can listen to me
Yeah.
and hear my opinions on them. And that I get joy there too. Now, that isn't just board game related. That's part of the performative thing. Both Jeff and I have broadcast kind of backgrounds. So this also helps get that passion, I believe, for both of us to do as well. But that's also like, that's really cool. I have a lot of fun, getting out that part of my passion for the hobby in this way, or making the Discord and talking with people there, or designing a game, or like you said, going to conventions, because it's just fun to experience everything like that. Collecting is another wing to the hobby where it's like some people find joy in the chase of the hunt or the grail game, or finding that. And I think that's a really interesting conversation, because none of these things make you more of a gamer than anyone else. Because
I don't feel like I'm less of a gamer than anybody else.
Natalie,
but I
you're more of a
definitely-
gamer than 95% of the population.
Yeah.
Right. But I also don't go do that extra stuff.
You don't do anything extra.
Right.
Right.
But you've gone to...
Yeah, you do the podcast.
You've
True.
gone
That's
to,
true. You're right.
You've gone to conventions.
Yes.
So it would be interesting. We would never... This is an alternate reality. If you and Ryan had never met, because you liked games before.
I did.
You liked
I was
this-
the game person in my
Yeah.
family. I'd bring all the games over.
Where would you be on your journey? Ryan sped your journey up.
Yeah, I wonder
Right.
where.
Yeah,
that's
I wonder-
that's
From
a really good
Scanagories
question.
to Kingsburg, right? There's a
Right.
lot of games in between
Yeah.
that Ryan had already played, the Ticket to Rides and the Catans and the Carcassonne. He already played those.
Yeah,
so he
it's
was
hard
like,
to say
I'm going to jump
because-
you.
I mean,
I'm going to jump you 2 levels.
how often do you think in this hobby does somebody just stumble across these games,
Well,
or are they introduced
different
to them?
nowadays. But back when you got into the hobby, when I got you into the hobby, they weren't really at Target. You know, they weren't
Yeah,
really in the mass
that's true.
market areas. They weren't even really at like Barnes and Noble. They weren't anywhere. They were in their own, FLGS game stores that you just wouldn't go into. You're not really going to hear about them. You're not going to see them on The Big Bang Theory or in the background of a South Park episode and wonder what they are. And now they're kind of, I don't want to say they're everywhere because this hobby is still ridiculously small. But I think the answer to Jeff's question there is probably in the last 5 years. I think if we would never met, I think you would have found the hobby and been like, oh my God, this is great. I really do. Cause you're looking for games to take to a family party,
Right.
that they're asking you to find. And you're like, I saw somebody play this game called Planet Unknown that looked really cool somehow, you know what I mean? And then you find it out and then
if
you
you
start
were
that
the
way.
target, because before you were like the target gamer, before
Yes.
they had games,
Yeah.
right? Then now if you would have kept being that target gamer, you would have went from like that level 0-1 to like level 2. Like, look at this new game at Target. Now I can play Ticket to Ride. Now I can play Gloomhaven. Fuck, the Jaws of the Lion's there. So it's like, as you keep creeping up, I feel like you missed a chunk of the journey, maybe.
Yeah, on her
For
own.
better
you mean?
or worse,
Yeah.
right? For all,
Yeah.
you got to skip a lot of shit.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And it was awesome that you
He's
got
like,
to
"I played
jump in.
these, you don't need
you got
to."
to jump in and go, this is fucking awesome,
Yeah.
right? You didn't have to weed out the garbage.
Yeah.
You got to know
True.
like you and Ryan were like in sync with what games you liked. You were like, let's start playing, and Ryan was like, get on my level.
Yeah,
Because
play with me.
I'm engulfed in the hobby.
Right.
My wife's not engulfed in the hobby. They get the fuck
this is
out.
not going to work.
So yeah, do you collect anything, Natalie? Are you a collector? Like if I was like, Ryan, what do you collect? You'd be like, I have guitars.
Everything.
I have
Yeah.
everything.
I got
don't know
3
if it's
grills
like
outside on the porch.
I might be
On
like
the deck.
I might be like generalizing. It seems like it's a dude thing. Majority of dudes like to collect something. And I don't know if it's
kinda weird.
It's definitely not strictly a dude thing.
No, but I
like,
think you're right. I think it is
to just
stereotypically
go over the top and just get obsessed with something like that.
Seems like it's more of a dude quality.
Is maybe a dude. Natalie keeps nodding like,
like,
yes,
fuck
it is. So I just want to
yeah,
make
oh
sure.
my
Natalie
God.
agrees with my sexist statement
She does totally.
of that. But like Ryan said, I like experiencing everything there is in the hobby and experiencing even like other people's experience. Like I go on and look up,
You're a board game
this
voyeur.
person played Trismegistus and I want to see how they liked it.
Oh, you're totally right.
Like, that doesn't, why do I want to know if you liked it or not?
Right.
But I just
the
want to know.
stranger.
fun.
Yeah.
And the same thing when you listen to podcasts. People are listening to podcasts who have played the games that we've played, and they want us to agree with them,
yeah.
no matter what.
Yep.
Right.
If they hated it, they want us to hate it.
Yep.
If they liked it, they want us to like it.
Yep.
Because
Confirmation bias.
you just want that. I don't know. There's
Feels
so
good.
much to
Yeah.
that experience. Like if someone called me and was like, "Hey, you can have the exact same like work hours, schedule, pay, workload, and you can work in board games instead of teaching," it'd be I would think about it.
That might be the one
Yeah.
thing where we differ. I don't think I would.
I
think I would.
become
I think I would not do it because
it might become work. Sure, I get that. I would think about it more than, because right now I know people might yell at me or whatever. There's not a lot of money in board games.
True.
So if you're doing marketing in board games, you're not rolling in the dough. And
Right.
granted, it's coming from a teacher. But like,
Yeah.
I'm on fucking summer break. I'm going to Mackinac
Right.
tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
fuck
you've been
it.
going on vacations
and
every
this
other
is-
week.
This is con season where this is the busiest season for a lot
Yeah.
of people that work for board game industry. So there'd be a lot of caveats for
Plus,
like me
if you work
being
for a
in that.
company and you go to Gen Con, this is probably exactly what you were talking about. But you go to Gen Con, you're not experiencing Gen Con the way you like to.
Yeah, you gotta,
now you got to be
stand at
tied
a
to a
booth.
booth
Right.
and
So
teach
you're
people
di-
shit,
so-
and it's like,
So yeah, I
ugh.
like being a fan of the game. A
Yeah.
fan of board games is just
That's why I think us as the podcast is the perfect level of involvement for us, because you're still dealing with publishers. You still get to make relationships
Yeah.
with people that you maybe even wouldn't if you were tied down to working for one company. You might
Right.
not be
Yeah.
able to do as much as you want, and you can do it at your leisure.
Yeah.
You get to be
Yeah.
like, let's meet. Me and Kira are going to meet, and we're going to hang out over here for a half
Right.
hour. And if you didn't want
And
to,
just
you're
talk.
like, maybe we won't.
Right.
Or and you get to go as the podcast. And so not that we have a huge following of fans, but there's people that can see you and recognize you from there, and that
Yeah.
feels really cool.
Yeah,
like when
that's
we went to
cool.
Origins, and someone's like reached out to me, and he's like, "Hey, I am a listener. Jeff. You know, he's like,
be
it would be
there.
really
Yeah.
cool to meet you guys. And that was like,
Yeah.
that for me anyway, that's all I need.
To feel
I think that's my cap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Sure.
know there's a lot of people I know that would probably be like, working in a board game company is my dream. And all power to you. I did that when I worked in the video game industry. I worked as a tester, and I was like, yes.
As a teenage boy, you're like, all I want to do is play video games for my whole
testing
fucking
video
life.
now I get
games.
paid for it.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It was a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was not like, I get to go play it. I was like, I got to go to work today.
Right.
It didn't ruin video games for me. So I don't think necessarily if you worked for a game company, it would ruin board games for you.
Yeah.
But I do think you
But
would
you've
still be
always-
like, this is a job I'd rather not do.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. And I get
always said,
annoyed
like, I'd still rather not be doing this and doing whatever I want.
Yeah, I get annoyed sometimes, even just sometimes just playing a game or taking pictures, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's work.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I like it. The moment we talk about this at the show all the time. The moment this stops being fun
That's when we stop.
is
It's
when
not
we
worth
swing to
it,
something
yeah.
else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you'd have told my teenage self that, hey, you're going to go for like years without playing a video game, I'd have been like, you're an
No
idiot.
fucking way.
I spent my entire middle school and high school
all you did.
playing video. We took days off. I took days off of school when like Halo came
Yeah.
out to just sit and play fucking video games.
Yeah.
And now the last new system I had was like Xbox 360, which is like 10 years old. Right? Like, and so
It's older than that, man.
because for some reason it just got to me, I was like, I don't have the time to sit and maybe it was like, you know, with the like relationships or having kids or something where just like my nights, I would rather not, like if I'm staring at a screen, I want to do it mindlessly and watch TV. Or I want to sit and like, for some reason, it just evolved into board games and other things took a back seat. And then I put all my obsession into this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have obsession, I have to obsess about
You gotta,
something.
you gotta obsess about obsession.
That's why I'm always curious, what does Natalie obsess?
I don't.
Your obsession
I'm
is
not-
spread.
Just like she's right, just like in a board game where she has to do it all, which I think is one of the reasons why she liked Marrakesh, because you have to do everything.
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
She's like that in life. She's like, tonight I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I want to do that. This day, like every single night, she's like, "What do you want to do tonight, hun?" And I'm like, I don't nothing.
I like either want to play board games or sit on the couch and watch TV.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Right.
just
And
want
I'm
to sit on
always
my
like, we could
computer and do
we could
nothing.
do this, we could do this, we could do this. He's like, none of those sound good.
Yeah, they all sound terrible. Lately, actually, I've been like, let's play a game. We don't ever do it, but I have been feeling that way, which is
Yeah.
kind of nice. I think I really like this discussion. It's fun to think about the different levels that people go through and what they are at, and they wax and they wane.
Mm-hmm.
I've been so fucking hard into the.
Okay.
Yeah.
TMI.
Let's go. Let's start it the same way.
I've been so fucking hard
Yep.
before, and then after a while, it goes away.
Yep.
It goes away.
Yep.
My erection for this
then it's
hobby,
back.
and then
it comes back.
and then it goes back. Not quite as
gotta
strong,
wait-
which
you
is a
gotta
bummer
wait a
because
little
I'm
bit.
in menopause.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been like so like into the hobby where that's literally the only thing I think about. I used to go on to Board Game Geek, and that was the only website I visited. And I had it
Yes.
up
You used
all
to be
the
on
time.
it all
I would
the
be
time.
constantly writing
Yeah.
threads. If you go search Sandman X82 on Board Game Geek, you will
You were
find
gamer of the week.
I was Gamer of the Week, which was a big deal
huge- it
on
still
Board
is a
Game
huge
Geek.
deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And
You ran like weight loss challenges.
yeah, I ran the weight loss challenge. I had a ton of micro badges created. Tons of threads and geek lists that I made, and I just was on it like all the time. I've run a fuck ton of auctions on
Yep.
there, and I was just really, really, really involved in that website for probably about a decade.
Yeah.
From like 2010, 2011 to probably about 2020. That was like all I did. And now I don't go to Board Game Geek as much as I used to. Now I'm probably more Instagram and Discord, with our own
that's-
community I
That's-
engage more with.
I've slowed down on that too. I don't know if I've like kinked as much as you
Yeah.
with games. This is also, I don't know if you're missing out on a little bit of the Gen Con boner because you're not going to Gen
Yeah.
Con in a few
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of I'm having some FOMO.
Well, it also-
Because this, I feel like my boner's coming back.
Oh, yeah, you're like, here
I'm
we go.
this
It's
is
about
cool.
to be
The
happening.
countdown, ready? The countdown. We did like a little mini nerd
Probably
fest. Cool,
helps
let's
too
talk
that you
about it.
have like a standing board game night every week.
Yeah.
Where you're like constantly like in it, and
Yeah,
you're
and your
playing
brothers are
games.
part of it, which
Right.
is
Right.
awesome.
For us,
And-
yeah.
it's like if we don't feel like it, we don't do it. If we do feel like we do, or like you're like, okay, Monday night I'm
True.
going.
Yep.
to
This
Yeah.
is why
play games.
when Devin
True.
was on our episode, whatever, she was like, we need to write our game night on a calendar because then
Yeah.
the discussion of
What do we do
Natalie
tonight?
saying, what are we
Yeah.
doing tonight? And everything sounds shitty after you work for 8 hours or 9 hours, other than sitting on your ass and eating chips and watching TV.
Right.
If it's like, it's on the calendar, motherfucker, we're playing. Like, it's there.
Yeah.
Then you kind of hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
You get back into it. You rate. You get your bulbosing on.
Yeah, you're bulbosing. Yeah, maybe that's something we should try.
I always like thinking about the gamer journey and different, like you said, like the levels of people in and out of the hobby.
Yeah, their level of their obsession, maybe.
Obsessed that like Ryan and I can be with this hobby. Are we top? Are we the max level? I don't think so.
Not anymore. I think we may be used to, but I just think of people like Chris Wilson or Shelley, and
They're
I'm
like
just like,
all
oh, you're
in.
dwarfing.
And they're
us
running
at this
events.
point.
They're running their own store. They're
Right.
running game. They're running like public
It's like
game nights.
their life.
Yeah, it's their life.
Yeah,
right. It's their life.
So we might have slipped from the top tier rankings.
we lost a step. Well, I'm in my 4s.
Yeah.
I lost a step. That's what happens when you get older. You just,
Like, what does that
you
mean?
just stop to nothing. I just like saying in my 4s constantly. I really enjoyed this Nook
so it's
topic.
interesting to think about.
Good Nook.
It really is. Check it.
Oh, man. On short notice.
That's right. That's right. We're doing another association station for y'all.
That's unexpected.
It is, isn't it now? If you don't know the association station in this game, I am going to take 10 games. I'm going to associate a word or a phrase or a sentence that means a board game in a wrapped up in a little tiny clue that I'm trying to get Jeff and Natalie to get. So if I say Constantinople, Jeff knows that to be
Istanbul.
and that is how you play the
Hold on,
game.
let's see.
I hope we do better than last time.
Oh, we were so
I
bad.
have
Dumbed it
vetted my
down.
own list, and I think not dumbed it down. I just think that
Yeah.
I made them. I think some are easier. There's still hard ones in here.
Ryan's like, code 111. Oh, is it code 777? Yes. Nailed it. Who's got Grandma's bell? You do.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh no, I think you do.
I
I
think
think Jeff
How
does.
do you know?
It's the
Mine's
it's,
a little higher.
yeah. Grandma, that bell is
Grandma's
lower
high-pitched?
Yeah.
lower pitched. Boom. Boom.
Oh, it's lower pitched.
Right. Okay. Here we go. Are you guys ready?
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let's
Jeff, can you keep score, please?
Yep, got it.
Number 1.
Oh. Hey, coming at ya.
That reminds me of when the champagne bottle just all of a sudden
man.
exploded.
Oh my God.
And Jeff was like, "You did. You
like,
saw me. I didn't touch
do
it.
it.
You
I
saw me.
didn't
touch that.
I didn't touch this."
For those of you not in the basement,
Yeah.
I picked up my pen and the cap went flying. and hit
Flying
the
off
bell.
of
And then hit
Natalie's
the
face.
bell.
Yeah, hit the bell.
No.
All right, here we go. Number 1. Maize and blue under the bridge. Jeff.
Oh,
Mission control.
Mission control. Do you know why, Natalie?
Michigan troll.
Yeah,
Because Michigan troll.
Michigan troll. Number 2. Ghostly investigators.
I should know this.
Ghostly investigators.
What the fuck is that game? It's sitting on my shelf.
Ghostly.
Clue is we both own it.
It's right there.
He's got it. He's so close.
Fuck. God damn it, Natalie.
Natalie.
Paranormal detective.
Yes, paranormal detective.
That game's so fun.
I love
If you've never played that game, play that stupid ass game. It's
Play
so
that
fun.
game, but let me be the ghost.
But play with us.
I want to be
I know
the
you
ghost.
always are the ghost.
I just want to
don't
be
think
the
I've ever
ghost.
been
It's
the ghost.
best thing ever, and I'm
Natalie.
just really, really selfish. All right, number 3. Braces fix it, and high school graduates sometimes take it.
Okay, braces. Brace.
Braces fix it,
Fix it.
and high school graduates sometimes take it.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, same thing. Of course, it's the same thing.
Well, braces. Is it
Sometimes
like a leg brace or is
high
it
school
like you got
graduate-
jacked up teeth?
Oh, yeah.
Teeth braces. Teeth braces fix it, and high school graduates sometimes take it.
It fixes crooked teeth, Natalie.
Fixes crooked teeth,
Yep. It fixes the.
but a high school graduate takes it.
Takes it. They take it. Takes it.
Oh my god.
I didn't say it. Spoiler. All right, you want to move on?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Braces fix it, and high school graduates sometimes take it. All right, number 4. This is stupid. I left this one. When you're kind of from America,
You're kind of from
Jeff.
Marrakesh.
Yeah,
Marrakesh.
like Marrakesh.
Oh, Natalie's so mad.
I know.
What?
Like it kind of sounds like a Marrakesh.
Like you're Marrakesh.
Oh my gosh.
So silly.
I'm so happy you got it, though. I was like, God, I left this in. That was so dumb.
Funny.
Number 5. Boner activity.
Whatever. Activity.
Boner activity.
What do you do with your boner?
Here's your clue.
Sometimes I flip it up in my belt.
Neither of us own it, but we want to. Boner activity.
But you want to?
We want to do boner activities. Like when we have a boner, the
where
one thing
my
we think about is what
not being
activity.
not being obsessive is a disadvantage.
That's true. Jeff has an advantage here, but it's okay.
You've won these.
You've won the
plenty of
association
things.
stage.
Now
He's
listen,
like,
if you had a
give me one.
boner, you would know.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't have.
You don't have a
whenever
boner.
you have,
You have
well, you
nipple
have Ryan's
boners.
boner.
Yes, you. Well, sometimes.
When you have a boner, all you want to do is find an activity for it.
Right. A boner activity.
A boner activity.
like putting it in the hole.
yeah.
That's a good
Wow,
activity.
that's the activity that we're looking for. Really,
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to go for.
All right, let's move on.
5. Let me write down boner
Boner activity.
Boner
I
activity.
think that one day I should, in my mystery boxes, send the notes that I write from
I know.
Yeah,
episode.
that you're just
Oh,
writing down
like
all of
randomly. You would read things like Gamey Susan would be like Jamie Gamey
Jamie
Susan.
Gamey.
I have boner act written on here.
You shortened it.
Boner act.
Oh yeah, I always shorten them too.
You do boner act. That's so funny.
Boner
All right,
activity.
I'm trying to see.
number 6.
Okay.
Floral inhalant.
Floral inhalant.
Floral
It's a
inhalant.
floral inhalant.
Pollen.
Pollen.
I feel like we've gotten worse at this.
I know.
No, you guys are doing good. You guys are doing good.
Floral.
You somehow got Marrakesh.
Some sort of
Patronize.
That was the dumbest one ever.
Floral.
flowery.
How about flora inhalant?
So you sniff
smell.
it. Plant smell.
What are you smelling plants for?
The smell.
What are you smelling plants for?
Aroma.
Inhale it.
Let's get really close then.
Yeah. What were you just doing?
Sniffing.
Sniffing.
Or
Smelling.
Inhaling.
Or okay. Or
Inhaling.
What else? What's another word for that? Sniffle.
Sniffles.
Breathe.
all right. That's the last clue you're gonna get.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Flo-
Breath. Breath. Breathe.
Flora inhalant.
Flower inhale. God damn it.
Dang it! I don't know.
You're very close. All right.
so
Number 7.
I'm going 2 to 1.
This one's also what? The vagina belongs to me.
Oh,
Jeff.
give me that.
Give me that.
That was from the last episode.
so good though. I should give that to you. You should get half points for that one. Oh my gosh.
The vagina belongs
it's
to
what?
me.
The vagina belongs to me. That's really funny.
What?
Give me that is really good. I thought you had it right away.
I know.
I was like, oh, you got it. Okay, that's fine. We're going to keep going. We got more.
Oh. Hey, that's my fish.
Hey, that's my fish.
Yeah.
Is that why you were bringing it up today?
Hey, that's my fish. Got it.
Hey. Oh, shit. You weren't technically supposed to be able to guess.
It's fine. I would have
That's
gotten
fine.
it.
It's funnier.
And you got to feel good because you got it. Good. Correct. All right, number 8. The fat kid in Willy Wonka going up the tube.
What's his name? Augustus Gloop. Gloop? Or
Gloop?
Glooped?
I don't know. He gets
Purple?
stuck
No, he's not purple. He just gets stuck.
The fat kid in Willy Wonka going up the tube.
up the tube.
Suck
He
it.
gets sucked.
Take out your
Suck it.
suck it. Suck it.
You suck it.
Sucked up the tube.
You suck it.
So he gets sucked up the tube. He gets stuck in there. He's caught in. He's
Augustus.
Rise
Rise of Augustus.
Rise of Augustus.
that's a
Very
good one. All right.
Thank
that's
you.
funny.
Oh,
Thank
that one
you.
was funny, but the ones that I got are
No,
fucking
those
stupid.
ones suck. You
Marrakesh?
easy.
What does that
Oh,
even mean?
easy.
God. Oh, that one was great though. When I get the boner one, that one's gonna be good
Always
too.
got to cheat to win with, hey, that's my fish. Number 9.
I did not say that.
You wanted to. Number 9. Quidditch goalie.
Natalie, this is you. I don't know shit about.
Oh, you don't know these.
Quidditch goalie.
Quidditch goalie.
Harry.
My balls are Harry Potter.
Do the goalies have a name? Let's talk this through for your
I don't
opponents here.
remember.
What are you talking about? Didn't you read the books?
Yeah, you're a book reader.
Book reader.
Okay, I read it from like age 12 to like 21.
Okay. I didn't even read the
That
books,
is
and I
so
came up
many
with the
years
clue.
of your life.
Well, I mean, like one book spread.
I only did it for 14, 13 years.
One time way back in the day. Well, I read them as they were released. Shut up, Ryan. Quiet your laughing.
That's only 50% of your entire life. Oh, that's so fucking good.
Quidditch goalie.
Oh my god. How am I supposed to know that?
I don't
only read the
know.
books for
read it for
23 years.
No big deal.
Oh shit, that's
I don't know
funny.
if they have a name as the
All right.
goalie.
Well, you guys aren't getting this one, I guess. 'Cause
No.
Jeff, I didn't know Jeff. You didn't know that. Okay, number 10. Devon repellent.
Devon repellent.
Devon repellent.
Ooh, what does she hate?
Devon Doodash. Jeff.
Paint the roses.
Paint the
Oh,
roses.
Yes, yes.
That's what she hates.
She
Or pirate game.
yeah, she hates paint the roses. Great job. All right, what are we missing? We're missing braces,
Braces.
fix it,
Yep.
and high school graduates sometimes take it.
What do they sometimes take?
We're also
Well, they
missing.
take things like the SAT, the ACT, a GED. Well, how does that fix your...
Yeah.
right. How does
Braces
it?
fix it?
Braces fix it, and high school graduates sometimes take it.
Take it.
Take it. Give me that.
Give me that. That was so funny. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. You give me that. That's a shield, baby. All right, you're also missing boner
Boner.
activity.
Yeah,
Yep.
the boner.
That could be anything.
And
But I have, but I get boner. Like I have one.
Yeah, you do.
I have one right
You should
now.
know.
I should know.
You also need flora inhalant.
We should do that one.
Quidditch goalie, I'm going to give you because I don't think either are giving it. It's keeper.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't
The keeper
I
is
guess
the
goalie.
Quidditch
I could have got
goalie.
keeper for anything.
It's all good.
Are they called keepers? Like, is
Yeah.
it?
In-
I just know like,
in Harry
like,
Potter, they're-
sometimes people call like in soccer they call them the keeper.
True.
Yeah.
And I looked at the Harry Potter goalie.
football.
I was like, I think the Quidditch goalie is called a keeper. And I looked up and
Okay.
it was.
Now that you say that, it sounds familiar, but I wouldn't have gotten it.
Sure. You needed like another year or
Yeah,
10.
I need to
Yeah.
read like 20.
Another 10 years you need to get.
What's
So you're only missing
like a
3
game
of
with
them.
like breathe or breath?
Flora inhalant.
Breath of the Wild.
Oh no, that's Zelda.
So your clue here, I
Dragon's
said
breath.
floral inhalant, which led you to flower.
Yeah, it's not.
Tried to change it to flora
Any?
instead of fauna.
So we're just sniffing plants.
Yes.
right
plant.
plants.
Breath.
There's like
Plant breath.
Oh,
Jeff.
CO2.
CO2. Very good. Jeffrey.
oh,
I get it now. Plant breath.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
they're inhaling.
That one's not good.
yeah, right, exactly. If she got it, that would have been a
Not-
great one.
Fucking funny. Not a good one.
It's mostly just
you're
I
making a
really
list
like
of these
Willy
things,
Wonka.
Not that one.
I just really like Willy Wonka.
You know they're coming out with a new one.
I know.
Yeah,
With Timothy
Wonka.
Chalamet.
It's like a
Timothy Chalamet.
prequel.
yeah, the Chalamet.
Yeah, I don't know how much I've.
Timothy.
A prequel.
cool.
We'll see it.
I'm
We'll see
into
it, I
it.
think.
The only weird part is that Hugh Grant
The Willy
is the
weird
Oompa
part.
Loompa.
Yeah, what the fuck is that about?
Grant's an Oompa Loompa?
Yeah, he's the Oompa Loompa.
Yeah,
Are
because
they-
they're all
I think
like
there's
the
one.
same.
Oh, okay.
And it's him.
They just CGI shrink him?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Or maybe they started big.
No, he's,
Everyone else
British.
is,
he's
everyone
little
else is
guy.
bigger.
British
He's just
and
regular.
And he's orange.
Okay.
That's true. He's orange. Is it possible for Natalie to mathematically come back in this association
Bonus
station?
activity.
No.
Give it.
She's
Give us.
out. Two
She's out for
That's
sure.
fine. Give us clues for the other one.
We only
Okay.
have 7 right now.
Okay, so you want me to
Braces.
Braces.
Braces fix it.
Scratch.
Your gap in your teeth.
Gap.
Gap.
Oh, damn.
Right.
I even in my
High
head
school
was like,
graduates
take a gap
take a
year?
gap
I
year.
was like,
Okay.
gap. I'm like, all right, well, that doesn't make any sense. In my head, I was like, it fixes the gap in the front of your teeth.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you got
okay.
it. Yep, gap.
Gap.
Okay, gap.
Now you can have that.
Boner activity. I now think
Sex.
woodcraft.
Oh.
Because boner is wood and activity.
So we weren't trying to guess the activity of the boner.
Right.
This was a
Right.
direct.
This was a
I was
direct
thinking the wrong
correlation
way.
association. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been doing this for so long. I used to, like, the whole list would just be one type of association.
Yeah.
Now I'm just kind of all over the fucking place.
That's right. So
Yeah.
are we.
I think you got all the rest. You got Mission Control with Maze and Blue Under the Bridge. Did you get? Yeah, you got Paranormal Detectives. That was funny. Jeff was like, "Fuck you." You just got Marrakesh. I'm very proud of you for getting that. That was the
That's
stupidest
funny.
one.
Not funny. Are you
It
making
is
are
funny.
you
I
making
just
lists
didn't
here?
get it
That
at
one goes in the
first.
not funny column.
Don't do that one again. One of the best things to happen to us is when someone new reaches out to us out of nowhere to tell us they enjoy the show. It's really great when it happens.
Like the show.
Like the show. And always makes us feel good. We recently had this guy, Jeff, reach out to us before Origins, like I talked about before, which led to us meeting up with him. And recently, as recent as today, listener Blaine reached out to me, told me he enjoys the show and that he had an idea for a top 5. He said as he was writing it to me, he was laughing hysterically. And the idea is so great because it's something I used to do all the time as well. So he said him and his buddies, when they're in the car on a road trip, will insert the word anal before, in the middle, or after the name of like a camper. I guess they would see a ton of campers.
Okay.
So if they pass a camper and its name is Challenger, someone would be like, Anal Challenger.
Anal Challenger.
Anal Challenger. Now, this is hilarious because I used to play the same game with buddy Chris in the car all the time, like on the way home from school. Only instead, we would use the word dick
Sure.
to replace, not add, words and signs. We'd be like, let's go eat at Taco Dick. No, I'd rather have Dick Donald's. Should we head to Best Dick to pick a new video game? Stuff like that. So this idea really resonated with me. So I'm going to fuse them together a bit, and we're going to do our top 5 games, replacing a word in the game with the word butthole. The word butthole is just funny.
Butthole is one of my favorite words.
Butthole.
Same.
Is it really?
And
I say beehole a lot,
Not a
too.
butt, but a butthole.
thing like
Right. Butthole's way better
when
than
I was
butt.
younger, people used to call each other buttholes. And I
You
don't think
butthole.
children call each other buttholes anymore.
No.
They just call each other fuckers and they swear all the time.
Yeah,
But like
douche nozzles.
Getting called a butthole, it's a great insult.
How do you come back
You're
from
a
butthole?
butthole.
Fuck.
Don't be a fucking butthole. Oh. And sometimes you can cuss around. Like, there's other words that you should, but if you call somebody up, you're a fucking butthole.
I think a butthole is probably the best non-derogatory.
Yeah. You're being a butthole.
Yeah. It's always such a butthole. Like, oh.
Oh, man.
Like anything more than that and you're swearing.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go me,
Butthole.
Jeff, and end with Natalie on this one.
Okay.
So I came up with a fucking ton of these things.
Oh, so did I.
I'm just going to kind of
Yeah.
randomly read one, and then
Yep.
if you guys come up with some, I'll just read other ones,
so,
hopefully.
just to repeat, we're switching out a name
Yes.
in a title with the word butthole.
With a name and a game title, one of the names in the game, remove and insert butthole instead.
and insert in the butthole.
Insert it in a butthole. Here we go. Number 5 for me. Everywhere you look, you see polyomino tiles shaped and curved like apples. When you realize these all seem to be the same, possibly self-portraits. In this summer's newest hit from Bezier, The Buttholes of Mad King Ludwig. All right, Jeff, what do you got? What's your number 5?
All right, well, I have a Bezier.
Okay. Ooh.
Well, I guess it's Bezier.
Okay.
Slash, I don't know, somebody else. You find yourself in this sticky situation, just you're just stuck in the middle of something in this game between two buttholes.
That's great. All right, Natalie, what about you? What's your
Okay.
number 5?
All right, my number 5. Here we go. A cooperative escape game where we have to navigate our ship out of a human called Captain Butthole. I don't know.
That was good.
Great. What's wrong with that? That was so funny. Oh my gosh. All right. In this new game, using action selection, you must quickly decipher and figure out which one will spray at you and which won't. It's difficult, though, because there's simply too many buttholes.
Too many buttholes.
All right, Jeff, number 4.
Ouch, this is really sore in the red butthole.
Ouch. Natalie, what's your number 4?
Okay. In this hidden movement game where you search for long lost treasure, I don't know where am I going.
okay.
Called Forgotten Butthole.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Blah, 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 blah. Forgotten butthole.
Butthole.
I was like, this doesn't make sense.
That's hilarious. Draft the best cards to create a mosaic masterpiece worthy of scramble porn in It's a Wonderful Butthole.
I had It's a Wonderful Butthole.
Oh, you did?
I had draft your perfect dystopian butthole and It's a Wonderful Butthole.
That's so funny. So I was talking to him, and as he told me the anal thing, and I was like, "That's really funny. We probably won't use anal, even though I said anal a bunch of times." And I started making my list, and then I thought of one for his thing, and I was like, "Welcome to anal." And he laughed, and he was like, "I thought of one, and it was welcome to, or It's a Wonderful Anal World." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny. I came up with It's a Wonderful Butthole," and so did Jeff. All right, Natalie, what is your number 3?
I have a different one for 3.
Yeah.
That wasn't your
that one.
Okay,
I have
I'm
another
sorry.
one.
I'm sorry. Yes, what's your number 3, Jeff?
But we'll just keep swapping things
do it.
out.
Swap them out.
Grab your goggles and check out some underwater buttholes.
That's at the nude beach.
All right, Natalie, what about you?
Number 3, build the biggest strip club empire in the new hot game Buttholes of Vegas.
That's what you think about the real game.
Or Lords of Butthole.
Lords of Butthole. Join us back at the table. Only this time it's in the Valhalla Red Light District. Join in with 3 other friends as you all try and be the best at selecting a butthole for Odin.
Select a butthole for Odin. I like this one.
I don't think Odin would like that
No,
one.
he wouldn't like. No, let's go to this one.
I
Switch
imagine
it.
like one of those like rom-com scenes where they're all like, there's someone's trying on a dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're coming out back and forth. They're
doing
that
a little
butthole, and it's like a little
montage.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not my butthole.
Yeah, that's not my butthole.
Say yes to the butthole. All right, Jeff, number 2.
All right, stay with me on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Are you not satisfied with 1
No.
or even 2 buttholes?
Not even.
Well, try this game.
Okay.
3 buttholes. And if that's not enough, not even 4, try 5 buttholes instead of 5 tribes.
And
Is
3
that
sisters.
not enough? How about 7 buttholes instead of 7 wonders? So 3, 5, and 7 buttholes. Take your pick. So it's 3 games in 1.
That's great. All right, Natalie, what about you? Number 2.
Okay. Loosen up.
Loosen up. Yeah.
Stop. Don't even say anything else. Just loosen up.
Loosen up and
Loosen
try
up
not
my
to
butthole,
procreate
baby.
an endless butthole.
Endless. Oh, God. This game's happening.
Poor Lemmy Wings. He can't get out of this fucking endless butthole.
I'm here forever.
Loosen up my butthole, baby. That's the next parody I should do. Number 1, you're on the train of thought in Pixar's Inside Out board game, which spends a weird amount of time exploring the puberty mechanic. As you're about to place your worker into the brain region, you hear the conductor player shout, "Next station, butthole!"
Choo-choo. Chugga, 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 chugga. Next station.
Next station, butthole.
Oh, that's my stop. I'm getting on off here. My family's there to pick me up.
Sorry, we're backed up, buddy. All right, Jeff, number 1.
All right, my number 1.
Oh, man.
It's my favorite one. Why it's number 1. Dig mines from your elevator shaft and bring up coal in Butthole Baron. Instead of Coal Baron.
I'm the butthole baron. All right, Natalie, number 1.
Number 1. Gather goods and build your farts in my little butthole.
My little butthole.
What was the tagline? Gather what?
Goods and build your farts.
Build your
instead of
Build your farts. Boop, 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 boop.
Another
Little
one
butthole.
that you guys
I was
have.
in the shower today and I was like thinking about games and then I thought my little butthole.
I was thinking about my butthole. I was thinking about
I was
buttholes.
washing my butthole and I was like, "This is great. I got a little butthole. There's a game."
Oh, my little. I like. First of all, I like my little butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
my little
butthole.
butthole. Play your cards right, but make sure you're first across the brown finish line in this tight game of race for the butthole.
Right for the butthole.
What else you got, Jeff?
I need some deep cleaning. Grab your meeples. Head over to butthole service instead of broom service.
Did you have any other ones, Natalie?
I have eat as many tacos as you can, but try to avoid the bathroom in Butthole Overload Cafe.
Oh my god!
Natalie's killing this. Another one I have is be the first to gather all the douchebags to the same place to win the Isle of Buttholes.
Buttholes. I had competed as a Roman general to try to protect Hadrian's butthole.
Hadrian's butthole is so fucking good.
Adrian's butthole. I don't have a tagline for this, but long shot, the butthole game.
The butthole game. Anything. You just add, like, I'm looking at Bot Factory, but it's
Butthole Factory.
Just
Yeah.
create a bunch of buttholes.
What, Jeff, what would you say for the Magnificent?
The butthole.
Yeah. Or beyond the butthole.
Butthole
Undaunted,
Magnificent.
Undaunted butthole.
You just replace the word "the" with butthole, so it's Butthole Magnificent.
Planet Butthole.
Magnificent.
Butthole Castles of Burgundy. It's just so
Tight
stupid.
to walk in city of buttholes.
Alien
Butthole
buttholes.
2840.
You just like anything you want. Paint the buttholes.
Butthole Mr. Cop.
Ready, set, butthole.
Ryan, you're gonna pass out.
You're gonna pass out.
That's not a butthole.
So that's going
going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at the Gamecasters Podcast at gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/the Gamecasters. There's also a merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody. Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
That was really funny.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Really funny.
Let me in, I'm trying to fuck.
Okay, so Natalie, let's just chew the Twizzlers and see how much you can hear.
Yeah, see what the chewing is.
ASMR.